Avast ahoy and g'day once again to ye mateys! I be your robustly open-minded and overstatedly cynical DM, Josh the Pirate, and it brings me more excitement than frying bacon in the nude to welcome you back to Corsair's Cove and Mano. With me, I have my darling wife, the fashionable, well-turned-out, and really rather striking Karen, the mother of bunnies. Karen, who the absolute heck are you?
I am definitely all of those things and definitely not the opposite. I am Karen, sometimes known as the Mother O' Bunnies. You can follow me on Twitter until it implodes, at Mother O' Bunnies. And if it does implode, I really need to have another option for this because that's the only platform I do Mother O' Bunnies on. So let me know, chat. Where do you want to go?
Oh, I mean, my Twitch. I hear you are Mother O' Bunnies on Twitch.
Yes, I am Mother O' Bunnies on Twitch, but that's not a social media platform, so problems. Damn you, Elon. But you can follow my burlesque alter ego on Instagram at Miss Lola Moore. She's also on Facebook, Miss Lola Moore. And you can also listen to me in the D&D podcast, There Be Dragons. Link in chat. I play a Dragonborn with a big axe that's silvered, like the Dragonborn herself, who is also silvered.
Marvellous. And Madame and Monsieur, Dama and Heron, and beings of indeterminate gender and persuasion, I be Josh the Pirate. You can find me here on my channel, Corsair's Cove, which I run with me lovely lady wife. And we play D&D a lot of the time. Sometimes there's Call of Cthulhu. Sometimes there are other things. Tomorrow night I will be doing Into the Breach, because I've been asked to, so I will. I'm like that. If you like my majestic voice, but you think I can stand to tone the face down a bit, you can check me out in the podcast There Be Dragons as well, where I play the infamous and deadly pirate Scan Feldspar und his little dragon, Crush. I think that's about it at the moment. We've got some stuff coming up in December. We've got Candlekeep Mysteries starting up. We have a sort of a, not even a micro campaign, but we'll have a full 12 episodes, so it's going to be a full campaign. 12
days of Candlekeep over the 3 weeks leading up to Christmas. Should be
really exciting. We also have the final 6 episodes of this season of Humblewood. In between that time as well, and I am negotiating a one-shot for charity coming up as well. More info on that to come, and next week we will be back for more Mano on Monday night with a special guest, which is very exciting. Malika Moon can be found on Instagram as Malika Moon if you want to check them out beforehand. Yes, Malika Moon, or Mercy as we know her, will be joining us next week, very hopefully, but maybe we're working on it, hopefully. Looking forward to it.
So it'll be 2v1 next week. I will have
2
help.
versus 1. Yes.
Wait, am I DMing next week or are you DMing?
I'll do it.
You'll do it? Okay, cool.
And I must also remind our robust, hard-wearing, and possibly even stoic audience to please like, follow, and subscribe to all the things, you bloody champions. We have all the exclamation mark socials. I pronounce it more like Seychelles now. We have the YouTube, the venerable Tube of You, and we have the Discord. So you can come and hang out and join us with all of those things. You can follow and subscribe and like and be in the Discord chat, all of those things. If you fancy it, we'd love to have you there. Very welcome.
Did I put the picture of Sirius Jumper in the Discord?
Yes,
I think I did.
Yes, you did.
I did?
I have shown several students in the last week or so, and they've all been like, oh my god.
Yeah, if you go to, where is
people
it?
Clothes.
There's pet photos in the Discord, and you can see our dog Siri wearing the jumper I knitted for her, and honestly, it might be the greatest thing I've ever done.
Pretty cute.
I should just quit all creative endeavors right now. That's it.
That's that. Done.
I will never do better.
Karen, tell me about Ukraine.
Ukraine. It's a whole thing over there. A number of Ukrainians have obviously left Ukraine to get away from all the stuff that's happening over there, which is a very sensible and understandable decision. But it does leave you with a certain set of problems. So the links in chat, for there are 2 now, are to support Ukrainian refugees. The first one is for the Emergency Action Appeal, which is an Australia-based collaboration, charities and not-for-profits, raised over $4 million to help Ukrainian refugees. And the second one is a little bit different. This is the Curious Compendium of Slavic Myth. So it's D&D creatures and a wonderful Ukrainian as D&D world map. There's a little one-shot campaign in there. It's basically, I think you said it was like 40-something pages?
It's 38.
38 pages of Ukraine-inspired D&D goodness that you can buy, I believe, for £1, which is about...
Yes, it's very... You can buy it for as little as £1, but you can donate as much as you like.
You can buy it for £100 if you want to. And all that money goes to the British Red Cross Appeal for Ukraine. So...
by the Dragon's Vault. But there is a lot of collaborators on it.
Very cool. So if you like to give to charity when you get something back that's very tangible, you can do option number 2. But if you're in it purely for the joy of giving, you can go option number 1. But no judgment on option number 2. I love getting something back for being a nice person.
There is also 2 subclass options as well.
Ooh.
There is a Bard subclass, the College of Kobzari, and the Sorcerer, Keeper of Volknovik. I don't know what either of them do, but yeah, there's a lot in there, yeah, I might be borrowing some of it in the future for stuff, because I definitely want to use some of it. The front cover is a Leshen with an army of bears. It's scary. Anyway.
So you say army of bears, and I watched Anchorman last night, so all I can think about is Brick lying spooning with the bear at the end of the film, being tickled. Like, you say army of bears, and that's what my brain does.
Hey, Antipode and D20, good to see you. Good day from Adelaide. Well, good day from Perth right back at you, mate. How's it going?
We'll be over in Adelaide in February.
We will, yes. Thanks very much for the follow as well, matey, Avast and such. Good on you. Yeah, thanks very much. I am aware of the Antipode and D20 as well. I know this.
It's a good name.
Yeah, thanks for joining us, you bloody champion.
Not to mention Antipodean is one of those words. It's just fun to say.
Good word.
Yeah, it's Antipodean.
We will be in Adelaide in February, late Feb, for
late Feb,
Papa Ronica.
Yeah, last week Feb, first week March, we will be in Adelaide.
For the Fringe.
Yes,
because Perth Fringe has spurned us, so we are going to Adelaide because fuck Perth Fringe. No,
don't say that. We want them to take us back sometime.
I choose it for multiple layers. Are you how Antipodean are you? You live in South Australia, so you're already fairly Antipodean. Anyway,
there's something happening in Adelaide that was in the news. It wasn't something bad, was it? You're not flooded, are you? Was that what I'd heard about Adelaide? It's hard to tell.
Last I heard was the power prices were skyrocketing. But I heard that from my mate Matt, who lives there. And it's why I can't have Twitch. It's why I can't have Plex anymore. Because he can't afford to run his server anymore because his power price has gone too high. And I was like, how much do I need to pay you to make Plex work again? Wild weather. Some suburbs without power. There you go.
Yeah. I was like, there was something in the news about Adelaide. I couldn't remember what it was. There's too many disasters for me to keep up with.
Yeah, it's a lot of disasters going on in the world. It's almost like everything's going to shit. Well, I hope everything is better and improving in your world, Antipode and D20. And Karen, it's been a hot minute since we played Mano a Mano before.
Yes,
Do you want to give us a quick recap on what the heck happened last time?
I will, but if you could just stall for a few seconds, because I've realised...
your red book of knowledge.
Yeah, the red book of knowledge got put away, and I can't reach it that easily.
Oh, I'm sorry.
So you'll just have to talk shit for a minute.
We began last session with Beryl having just had a chat with Queen Othokent of the Lizard Folk. This is a variation on the adventure Danger at Dunwater from Ghost of Saltmarsh. But in my world, Saltmarsh is called Bottledown, and it's a halfling settlement, so I've sort of rebadged a bit of it. Yes, Beryl has done the original, the 2-part adventure that begins the whole booklet. Those who don't know, Ghost of Saltmarsh is a kind of a collection of you can play the whole thing as just one long story, but it is functionally a collection of one-shots, layers. Amongst other things, there is a phonetic homage. Oh, yes, I like it. Antipode and D20. Yep. Yes.
That's very clever.
Very good. It's a good name.
I like that.
Very
You
solid.
better have cool t-shirts with that.
Yes. Papa Rotica, 7 Heavenly Sins. is the name, and we look forward to seeing you there. If you do happen to come and see it, do come and see us afterwards.
Come say hi.
Yeah.
We love meeting people we've met exclusively online in the real world. It's kind of trippy.
Yeah, it's kind of cool. It's kind of cool.
I found the Red Book of Knowledge.
Hey.
For those who missed it, I have finally completely filled this book. Took 2 years. D&D notes. Though there are 2 D&D things I do that don't go in this book. So.
Yes.
But yes, we continued our negotiations with the various aquatic races. So we had the Sahaugin.
No, you didn't negotiate with the Sahaugin.
We haven't negotiated with them yet. They're
no,
last.
Not at all. You're not going to do that. The Sahaugin
are
the problem.
Sorry, that's who we're going to fight. Yes. Yes. The Sahaugin, who I have noted as evil aquatic fish dicks.
Yes. Put a picture of
and
the
we need to ally ourselves with the various aquatic races, which are the Koalinth, which are like water goblins, the Merfolk, who are mermaids in the traditional sense, the Locanthah, which are the cute fishmen, who I really like.
These boys.
And the sea elves. And we already have Oceanus is our kind of buddy that we picked up when we rescued him.
So sea elves haven't been included in this alliance. They were not even asked.
Because the
Koalinth.
Yes, the Koalinth, the water goblins and the sea elves have a long and passionate enmity and do not like each other.
Nope.
So we're going to have to keep Oceanus away from any of those because it's not going to go well.
Yeah.
Let me see what we did.
You went and talked first to Saurav.
Yes, that's it. We met the minister, who we found out on the down low was the Queen's dad.
Yeah, secret dad.
And he's on Team Alliance, which is great. And then we go talk to the Merfolk, Shemineh and Yevgartha, who I accidentally scare the absolute bejeebus out of because I don't know proper protocol.
Really glad you remember the names because I'd forgotten because I made them up.
I wrote them down. I didn't write down the names of the Loagant though, so I got nothing there.
No, the Locanthah never gave their names.
Oh, that's right. So we have a chat. It goes well. They're open to alliance time. And they give me a bracelet, which is pretty dope.
Oh, yeah, they did.
Yeah, they gave me some jewelry. It's very nice.
And it was of metal that it's like it's like fabric when it's wet, but when it gets when it dries, it becomes solid.
Yeah, it's very cool.
I was very creative that night.
And then we went and saw the Locanthah.
Locanthah.
And we took a different approach this time. We made like a platter of food from what we had available. And then we like popped it in the water and we're like, hey guys, you want to come chat? And they did. They came and had a chat. They gave us some like cool seaweedy sort of food thing that was pretty good. They were a little less keen to join Team Alliance. So I kind of pitched them completely unauthorized, which may blow up in my face, that we could build kind of a partially waterlogged sort of music hall / educational facility where Locanthah and land dwellers could meet and chat and maybe swap songs because he sang for us, which was an experience. I believe it sounded a bit like this. Thank you.
Help yourselves to as much as you like. Very good, Antipodean. Yes.
And they kind of basically reaffirmed that we shouldn't because we have to go see the Koalinth next, who are our final kind of negotiation group. And they're like, make sure they don't see Oceanus because they will lose their shit. And I'm like, okay, might leave him here.
Noted.
And then once we've done that, we have to go and like check in with some of the lizard folk and make sure they're down to like ally as well.
This was the thing. Well, this is like Othokent has said she's down.
Yeah.
And Saurav is down, but she's like, now I give you a day to go and like convince people. Like all the other members of the Alliance, but also maybe my people too. I don't want to have to sell this to them. So yes, that's what happened. Pretty, yes, exactly. Yeah. So you have literally just, well, actually, I've made it written down. So, well, mateys, may your sushi be handmade, and all your recollections about the cultures of aquatic races be based on fact, as we head tremulously at first, and then with mounting heat and passion, to tell us.
I was hoping you say with mounting cool and damp.
Don't want more of that. It's already plenty cool and damp down here, in the caverns of the lizard folk.
I had my first swim in the swimming pool today, and it was not very warm.
I had my first swim in it 2 days ago when it was less warm.
Yes,
the heating system does actually work, just not very well.
We've got it slightly above freezing.
She complains too much. It's I would have thought high teens. So, Beryl, you have just concluded a conversation with the ambassador of the Locanthah. Who I will put a picture of back up. There he is. Cutie.
We had the fish stick guys up there.
You did. We'll have to look. That was the Koalinth.
Look how cute he is. Look at his little
whose name you did not get. No, he didn't give it. He didn't even offer it, and you didn't ask. But he was very friendly. In which you bartered a safe harbour and cultural exchange centre for his people in Bottledown, in exchange for their agreement that Bottledown be allowed to join the Alliance. Then you serenaded him with a halfling song of friendship that featured the opening riff from Back in Black.
I forgot about that.
You did. Othokent, the Queen of the Lizard Folk, has granted leave to roam the Lizard Folk den for a day, while Othokent considers your proposal. And you convince her allies that including Bottledown in the alliance against the evil Sahaugin is a good move. The Merfolk are on board, as is, it would seem, Othokent's chief minister and secret dad, Saurav. What is left is the goblinoid Koalinth and the lizard folk themselves. So, Beryl, what do? You are sitting with your buddies, Garrett Dale, a halfling boy, Garruk, a lizard folk, a dragonborn, a red dragonborn, trader, and sometime monk, actually, because of class, and Oceanus, the sea elf, who knows better than to stick his head into the Koalinth pond, and might actually go and hang out with the merfolk for a while, because his race and theirs get along quite well.
All right, well, unfortunately, Oceanus, here is where you have to kind of make yourself scarce.
Yes.
So we don't start a war when we're trying to make a peace.
Oh, I agree. And that would not be better for anyone.
You can go do whatever you like, I guess, and just we'll meet up with you in an hour or so.
Well, I shall. What do you suppose would be the best? I don't speak lizard folk, and most of them don't speak Elvish. Perhaps I should return to the Merfolk pond, or I could do a bit of scouting.
Either or. If the Merfolk want to keep chatting with you, go have a chat. Make friends.
Well, it was nice to taste the foods of home again. He saunters back to the Merfolk pond, which is, you're in a large cavern, with sort of several ponds within it. They are all sort of connected, but they all have a very different sort of vibe to them, in terms of the, aquaculture that's going on in them. For example, the water of the Locanthah pond is murky. To the point where you can't see beneath the water, whereas the Merfolk pond, as I recall, was quite clear. There was a bit of weed, but otherwise it was really quite kept nice and clear. Heading further around to the left, however, will take you to the Koalinth pond, or pool. The Koalinth pool, which I presume you go to now. The Locanthah ambassador says, "It was pleasure to meet Beryl. I hope see again soon." we sing more song. Blah, 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 blah.
And I'll give him a deep curtsy and be like, "It was an absolute pleasure to meet you as well, sir."
Yeah. He bows. He does he bows, but it's awkward. It's clearly not what his race would do, but he's an ambassador. You get that at least. And he was like, and bows. And then he steps back out onto the waiting heads of two of his buddies and slowly but gracefully drifts beneath the surface of the pond. Like on a lift.
It was like a cartoon or something where someone rode dolphins.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Oh
my god, I would pay so much money if in the next Aquaman movie Jason Momoa is being
stands on the back
of a pair of dolphins and just gets like, yeah.
Ambassador, yes. Oh, he's good. He's bringing all the aquatic puns. All right. Heading up and around toward the Koalinth pool, do you take Garrett and Garuk with you? I really wish I had named Garuk something different. I just didn't intend for you to take him on the adventure with you.
He wasn't supposed to come with us.
I unfortunately for me, made a really tantalizing NPC up on the fly, and you were like, "Ooh, I must know all the things about this." He is this adventure's goblin named Trevor or whatever. Like, oh my god, we must love him and protect him forever.
You also gave him a set of skills that was really useful for the mission I was about to go on.
Look, I did do that. I did that after the fact, but yes. The flooded cavern of the Koalinth pool is roughly circular and about 60 feet in diameter. The water is murky, but the top of a weed bed can be seen just under the surface. A stone path follows the west wall for a few feet above the waterline. From it, stone stairs descend into the water.
So did we ask anyone at any point what the protocol was to approach these guys?
No. No, he's got two eyes, Ro.
Like, we can knock one out if it'll make it more interesting. Tell you what, I'm gonna walk to where the path meets the water.
Uh-huh.
And I'm going to like touch the water with one finger and like give it a little wiggle to make some ripples.
Okay.
I'm going to be like, "Hello, my name's Beryl Ingots Fury. I would love to have a word with one of y'all."
The others are on the other side of the pick. I see what you mean. Yeah. No, is the answer. No, that's yes. He's side on. You do that. Can you make me? I don't know. What sort of check is this? Let's say persuasion. I think. Probably persuasion. And I will roll a perception check to see if they even fucking notice. Oh, they do.
Oh dear.
Okay. Beryl, emerging from the water is I think you would be aware of it. I think you'd be I was just referencing my favorite NPC. Oh, I see. Right. Yes, Yevgeny. Yes, the one you adopted. Yes, he only has one eye. I don't know. No, this Locanthah does not. You'd probably be aware of this creature. The nose of a swordfish appears from beneath the water. Round about where your finger was, probably just in time for you to draw your finger back. It almost looks like it was aiming to stab at you. Curving around this swordfish head, it's a trap, are a pair of pincers. Like the pincers of one half of a pair of pincers. Like the pincers of a giant crab. However, all three don't appear to be attached to the creature they originally came from. Instead, they are mounted on a shaft like a trident made of animal bits, which all comes out of the water, followed by This chap.
Balls while Karen waits for the stream to catch up with.
Yes.
Terrifying guy. Cool.
Yes. A goblinoid Koalinth. I don't know if you'd have ever actually met one of these boys before, but yes,
Probably
they are.
not.
They are vaguely goblin-esque. You've definitely met goblins before, but these are distinctly aquatic. They are. Hey, Scrappy, good to see you, mate. They are definitely aquatic. They can come up on water. They can come up on land, but they are clearly more at home in the water. This boy is. Yes, he has armor that. It's very, very Pirates of the Caribbean 3-esque, sort of like part of the ship, part of the crew. It looks like the armor is... It's definitely not what he was born with, but it now looks like he might struggle to take it off because of the barnacles and other things that have made themselves at home on it. It is part of his carapace now. And indeed, some of it seems to be alive. He has a small amount of coral growing off the plates on his back. And he sort of sneers at you as he emerges from the pond and says, "What you want?"
Oh, hi. I'm Beryl. I'm a emissary from the town of Bottledown, which is a short walk from here. I was wondering if we could have a little talk about the little issue you've been having with...
Sea elves? You join the fight?
Oh, not the sea elves, the other one. The Karen Blanks on the...
Sahaugin.
Sahaugin. No, the other one's the Sahaugin.
Sahaugin, not problem.
Oh.
Sea elves are the threat. None here see.
In what way are the sea elves a threat to you and not the Sahaugin? I thought the Sahaugin were trying to take everyone's territory.
Sahaugin are threats. Sea elves, bigger threat. Sahaugin kill some Koalinth. Sea elves kill Koalinth for 100 years.
That's a mighty long time to be fighting with someone.
He doesn't really have anything to say to that. You ally?
Well, I'm trying to be. That's why I'm talking to everyone to kind of see what's going on. So if you'd like to have a chat like we can do it here, or I'm happy to come into the water if you're more comfortable down there.
We stay here.
Oh, okay. And I'll kind of find a convenient rock to sit myself upon.
So you are aware, I will remind because it's been a while, Saurav told you the Koalinth have not signed on yet. And in fact, Saurav told you on the down low that it wouldn't be a deal breaker if the Koalinth left. Particularly if you could instead bring in the Sea Elves. But the Koalinth are not a signatory yet anyway. However, they are by far the more warlike of the two races, and therefore preferable. They're also goblinoids, so literally everyone uses them as cannon fodder. But Koalinth, I mean, most goblinoids are aware of that. They just don't have a lot of options most of the time. But yeah. So he mentioned to you, like, he doesn't really have a stick with which to move these guys, or he reviews it himself. So it's very much, there isn't a lot of guidance for you on this point. It's see what you can do.
Right. Does he sit down or does he just stand there awkwardly?
He kind of waddles out onto the water. He moves with a bent-legged gait. He looks like he'd probably be your height if he stood up properly, but it also kind of looks like he can't. The armor of his back is actually sort of forces him into a slight hunch, as the plates have sort of fused with the barnacles and so forth, and he moves with a vaguely crab-like shuffle, and he not so much sits, he crouches in the manner of a monkey. Like one set of knuckles on the ground, the other arm using his trident for balance. And he is clearly examining you as in the manner of one examining prey. He is sniffing the air, and you could probably guess that his sense of smell is pretty good. He is festooned with it probably looks a little unusual, but trophies. Like the elements of his trident, for example, are... neither of those animals would have gone down easy. And... yeah, he has got loads of bits and pieces, much the same way a tribal hunter would have teeth and bits of fur, tails, and so forth. He has similar, but it's all aquatic. There's a skeleton of the spinal cord of a particularly decent-sized fish, hanging from his belt, where someone else would have feathers. That sort of thing. Some seaweed-wrapped bundles along his waist. Yeah, stuff like that. And he sniffs you. You not smell like warrior.
Oh, no. I have been known to get into a fight or two, but I'm actually a bard. I sing and I play music for people.
Hey, Phoenix. Good to see you, mate. Music. What music?
Oh, well, I can show you if you like.
I know music. What music?
Oh, right. What music do I play? Well, and I'll kind of get my dulcimer into playing position, and I'll...
Do you want to first make an insight? What kind of music he would like?
Sure.
He's not very close, chaotic, so it's consensual.
Oh shit. 7.
7.
That was
You haven't the vaguest idea. He's probably used to hearing music underwater anyway. Nat 1, rough. Yeah.
I'm gonna sing him a few lines from my song about that time we followed a bird to a haunted house.
Okay. Remind me of the sort of tone, theme, style of that song.
Upbeat, mysterious.
Okay. Were it to be in a genre of music, what music would it be? Vaguely country?
Yeah, as if Blackmore's Night crossed with a country band.
Country, okay. Valid. Like it. So, folk country.
Yeah.
Country folk. Yeah, alright. Listening to Blackmore's Night today, otherwise I would have really struggled. Cool. Yeah, I'm up for that. That's my jam. I don't know if it'll be his. So, Antipodean D20, would you roll me a D20 in chat, please? ! Roll space 20. This is to determine the higher the number, the more he likes Beryl's song. It's not going to be a performance check because I know Beryl's very good at this. It's more about what he likes. You could be the worst musician in the world. He wouldn't necessarily know. So we will see. This could be good. Could be good.
Could be good. Could be trash.
There's been a lot of rolling badly today. Too fast. ! Roll space, as in spacebar, the number 20. We got both kinds. Folk and country. Country folk.
So it could be argued that traditional...
8. 8 is just enough for him to not go, bleh! It's like, yes, land folk song.
Oh, I can play something a little more aquatic if you like.
No need. This you job, not warrior.
Mostly, yeah. I keep getting roped into some sort of worrying stuff, but yeah, I'm mostly a musician.
Do you think Garrett or Garuk would assist at all? Or is Beryl just she's taken the lead on the last two?
Yeah, but I would, like, if they're kind of hovering awkwardly nearby, I'd just be like, by the way, these are my traveling companions.
Garuk looks like a fighter, and Garrett is sort of a armored like one as well. You don't. Of the three of you, you are definitely not the warrior, even though you are comfortably the most comfortable in combat. And so, yeah, if you make an attempt to include them, he might view that interestingly.
The tall red one is Garak, a trader from Chalderon. Very exciting place. And this is Garrett Dale, who is a scribe and a little bit of a brawler himself, who I know from my days back in place that I come from.
Off time.
Off time. Thank you.
Day warrior.
Yes.
Garuk says, Garuk doesn't say anything. He crosses his arms and breathes a jet of fire into the air above your head.
He can do that.
And then smiles, baring his fangs. And the Koalinth does not look intimidated at all. He looks impressed and a little like this is probably the first time he's looked in any way interested. Really. Insert hometown here. Yeah.
Anyone in the chat watched the two-parter we just did, The Dare? It's like, yeah, he really likes that popular musician from band that's cool right now.
Reference! That's my favorite of those. Possibly Garok and Garol. Yeah, well, yes, he just, Garuk just Garucked his socks. And he sees the flame and, yeah, he grins, but it's more of a rictus, like just pulls his teeth back. More men do that. Landfolk no have problem.
Well, yes. Unfortunately for us, Garak is something of a rare beast.
Beast? You sell?
Oh, no, he's his own person. I meant that he's quite fearsome.
I can be. Then I want to be. And yeah, the Koalinth would actually sort of shuffle. Think Mines of Moria Goblin is what I'm imagining in terms of movement. Over to Garuk and get all up in his grill like. Strong one, you lizard folk? I am Dragonborn. We are kin, not blood. Much blood here. Thick like seawater. Why you seek us?
Is that directed at Garak?
Yes, he turns back to you. He's assessed your companions as, all right, maybe.
Well, we've been kind of going around and talking to everybody about what we can do to get rid of the Sahaugin. And there seems to be some interest in all of us forming some sort of alliance. So with our greater numbers and combination of skills, we can drive them back from whence they came and bring peace to this part of our lovely little world.
Who you work for?
Oh, I represent the Council of Bottledown.
Where Bottledown?
It's the town that's in that direction and that distance that we traveled to get here.
Yeah. To the west of here, about a day, and it's on the coast. Bear in mind, this is an aquatic being.
Oh, it's on the coast. It's west. About a day's travel. Might be faster to swim it, though.
All land
Lots of
folk?
boats. Yeah, all land folk. Lots of boats coming in and out, though.
Why land folk care about Sahaugin?
Well, apparently, they want to start attacking land folk as well. Because we do go in the water, you know.
Beryl, make me an insight. Make another one. You know, you can't do worse than last. I'm going to put our boy
12.
away so we can see the roller. Or maybe just raise him up a bit. No, that's not it. Oh boy. No, not that one. There we go. Nah, that's splitting the difference. That's not actually helping very much. There we go. Let's bring him down a bit. There we go. Yeah, that. Alright. 12. He doesn't know jack about the land. That's all I'm giving you with a 12, but he just straight up doesn't know anything about the land. That could be to your benefit, it might not.
I don't want to lead him down the garden path and then have that blow up in my face later.
No. No worries, Antipodean. See you in a minute.
Okay, so I'll let you know, because we go out in our ships. We don't want them being messed with. And they can come out of the water, right?
Sahaugin can, yes, absolutely.
And they can come out of the water, and they could certainly create a lot of trouble for us down at the port if they felt inclined to do so. Which, if they've, dealt with everyone else between there and the coast, they don't really have a good reason not to. We're kind of anticipating the problem rather than waiting for it to become one.
Another insight check.
You really want me to realize something, and I'm
No,
just
this is a different
not.
thing. This is a different thing. 17. His is a warrior culture. Clearly.
Yeah.
He doesn't understand because he has never had to before. Not because he's stupid. He doesn't know anything about you. But the thing I will give you with the 17... He needs a military reason.
This is a wrong character for military-style negotiations.
Well, not necessarily. Just pitch it in a way that makes militarily it sound like a good idea. Because the reason that you get this is because he sort of narrows his eyes and he says, "You seek to solve problem before problem become."
Well, yes, we strongly anticipate that they will eventually wage war directly on us. And if we can prevent that from happening by allying with those who are already at war with them, we can get our part of it out of the way before they've had a chance, come ashore and destroy all our things and steal our folks.
And this is the first time he straight up, just without bending his knees any further, just rocks back onto his tailbone. And there is the crack of shell against the ground as he just straight up just rolls backwards into a sitting position without really, he doesn't sit so much as just roll. And rolls backwards and puts his fist to his chin and just looks at you. Land folk not so stupid.
Well, we
Fight with others. So not fight alone.
Well, yes, quite.
We also seek ally. You know Sea Elf.
Sorry, do I know a sea elf or just of sea elves?
You know a Sea Elf?
Well, I've met one, yes.
You like?
Well, he didn't try to kill me, so he was all right, I suppose.
You lucky. Sea Elf. Blood hungry, like shark.
Mm.
Koalinth here. Make a persuasion check. Unless you would count what you just did as actually deceiving him.
Technically not lying by omission. I didn't say anything.
That's why I'm saying, yep, no, that's why I said persuasion or deception, whichever you prefer.
Oh, goody, I rolled a 3. So
Wow. Persuasion is really just you fail to persuade him of this particular thing, which is okay. So he says, Koalinth here, not for Othokent reason. Sahaugin we fight. Not need allies to fight.
right.
Sahaugin not fight only Koalinth. Everyone fight Sahaugin anyway. Not need alliance.
Oh, I see.
We all fight anyway. We come because Sea Elf evil.
And
They threaten all. We want ally. You ally with us against Sahaugin, then we ally with you against Sea Elf.
the only problem with that is that we don't really have any, I don't know if this term translates. We don't really have any beef with the Sea Elves at this point. I don't know if I could go back and convince the council that there was a real need for us to do that. Whereas the Sahaugin present a clear and present danger. If you understand my point.
I think he does. I think he would. I'm going to roll for it. Yeah, he would. Definitely would. He's not stupid. He was sent here. He's an ambassador. As much as the Koalinth would have an ambassador. But he understands your point, but he doesn't like it. He says, it's what all say. When they finish with us, they come for you. Like Sahaugin.
I see.
It what Othokent say, too. Do not want new war. We already have war.
Yeah, it's that uncomfortable thing where we don't currently have a problem with them, so it's hard for us to,
Start new war.
Yes. We're predominantly a trading port, so we're not in the business of picking fights unless we feel we have to. I don't suppose you know a sea elf who might talk to me?
Sorry, what? Sea elf?
Yeah. Like, is there someone that they kind of do their communication about how much they hate each other through?
Oh, no.
Like
as
you
in,
guys...
yeah, they have had no diplomatic contact whatsoever.
Right. Okay, I'll clarify. I mean, do you guys have any, communication at all? Or is it kind of, nope, nothing?
Only good sea elf. Dead sea elf.
So your goal would be...
All sea elf dead.
Right. Wow. Okay. Don't you think that's a little much?
You, female. Yes?
Yes.
I mean no offense. I not know land folk.
No, I am female. Yes.
You have young?
Not yet, I don't. No.
But you know young.
Yes.
Imagine all young slain. Birthing pools full of bodies. Blood-hungry sea elves to blame.
Oh, it sounds horrible.
No peace. I see. My eyes. I smell.
Is he on the level with that? Did he actually say this?
Ooh. Insight.
Yeah, I'm not going to know shit, am I? Boom! 3, baby! 9!
Wow, you're rolling badly today.
I am!
This makes up for... what was the last game you played? Yeah, when you and Dan were playing, you were all like... You were all in the high 20s. Alright. Yeah, it sounds legit. You just don't know enough about him. Like, you don't have a read on the guy. He just appears to be working on a completely other spectrum. You do have a sea elf, but you'd have to, like, disengage from this conversation and go and ask.
This is what I'm tempted to do a little bit. Okay, I'm gonna go, I'm gonna coach you. Alright. That sounds like a mighty tragedy. You have my sympathies.
He nods his head. It's a bare inclination, but it looks like it's all he can actually do. We no wish war, Bottledown. We already have war. We seek friend. You know war, you friend.
Well, in an ideal...
But warn about Sea Elf.
Oh, absolutely. I'll be looking into this a lot more, I can tell you that right now. Well, this has been a very interesting conversation. Thank you so much for speaking with me.
He nods once and then just literally just rolls backwards into the water.
Okay. I might need a little drink after that, guys.
That one could have gone better, but actually I think that one would struggle to have gone a lot better.
Well, yeah, because if, like, basically...
You don't have the authority to declare a war.
No! I don't barely have authority to do any of this. I would go so far as to say I have almost no authority.
You might want to say that quietly.
Oh, I'm walking away while we're doing the conversation.
Yeah, this is going past the Locanthah pond, and you just see one goes like, hi!
Just, I'm flying by the seat of my britches here, and I honestly don't know if, like, he doesn't seem keen to come on land and slaughter us, which is great, but he's definitely got the hots for going into the ocean and slaughtering Oceanus' people, which, you know, if that story he told us is true, that they went and slaughtered all the birthing pools and, like, you know, blood and stuff, that's real bad. That's horrifying. And I'd be real pissed off about that too. But doesn't mean you can go and commit a genocide of your own. You know, 2 genocides don't make a right.
Are we saying something about genocide? As you come around the corner, and you meet Oceanus, who is sitting on a rock next to the Merfolk pool with Cheminée, who has, interestingly, Cheminée is the female Merfolk from before. Now that she is above the water, she is more human-looking. Where before she was quite fishy. Her tail is still in the water, but where her hips would be is sitting, and her tail is entering the water at about knee height. Above the knee, above the water level, there is a split now, as if she has thighs. And Oceanus has been chatting with her, and as you come around the corner, he says, "What's this about?" Yes, you've been talking with the Koalinth. They've been filling your head with stories of sea elf monstrosities, I imagine.
Oh, yeah.
What is it we are accused of doing this time?
Murdering children.
Oh, that old chestnut. We're looking for a redemption roll, Antipode and D20. Let's have one now. Another D20, please. Or, if you prefer, exclamation mark history.
So I take it you didn't go slaughter all the young'uns one time?
No living Earth.
Oh, so it might have happened a long time ago.
And that one.
Ooh! Redemption
Oceana says, yes, wow. Oceana says, it is not something we would do. Wouldn't work.
Wouldn't work.
Well, they breed quickly, you see, the Koalinth, the goblinoids. And it's hard to stamp them out. The best way to do it is when they're little.
Oh. So someone might have at some point. Wow.
But if this, there hasn't been an offensive. We are a defensive fight here. We are fighting a defensive war here. We are not looking to defeat them. We're just trying to keep them away, and we're very good at it. No Koalinth attack has reached any of our settlements in a while. We patrol thoroughly and don't let them anywhere near us, and they rarely muscle up the amount of strength required to do so. We aren't interested in killing them all off. We really just want them to leave us alone.
Oh, they're very interested in killing all of you.
I am aware.
Oh, boy.
But, they breed quickly, they die young. Such a thing may have happened a long time ago, not recent. Beryl, the impression you got was that Koalinth had seen it.
Oh, because he was talking about it like it was something he'd seen, like it was recent.
Well, I don't see how that could happen. As I say, there are rogue elements in every race, but I don't. They guard their birthing pools very strongly. And yes, one or two sea elves with a bit of I'm looking for a quipper in their breeches. Might go and find a Koalinth to kill just because they've got a grudge. But it would take more than a couple of sea elves to butcher a birthing pool.
I mean, he may have been lying to me. I don't know. I hope so. It's horrible.
They're not much for deception. Did he seem passionate?
I think so.
Tell you what, one more try, Antipode and D20. Exclamation mark insight. This will be for Garrett and Garuk, who were there and witnessed the whole thing. They can make an insight as well about whether or not the guy seemed legit. Definitely Garuk would be reasonably good at this.
Make up for me being...
Yeah, just rolling crazy low. Okay, here goes.
Just do better than me. Ah!
A 3. Well, Garuk would say he seemed very sure of his facts from what I could see. Couldn't tell you if he thought it was recent or not, but definitely he thought he'd seen it.
Oh, goodness me, this is...
It is indeed.
Sorry, Antipode and this like throws virtual dice across.
Yes.
Yes, there's something satisfying about it. Like, you have failed me for the last time.
Squelch as you throw the blood dice.
They still have the meat dice going.
It might be why you've got the meat is because you've got the meat dice going for Beryl.
All right, let's swap the meat dice out then. See if that improves things. We've got the dice of true color now.
There you go.
Quickly do a test roll to see that they've swapped. No, they haven't. Let me refresh the page.
Squelch, squelch, squelch. Another very poor roll as well.
Yeah. Oh, shit too.
The meat dice are not favoring you today.
Hey. Okay, the rainbow dice. Oh, and I rolled a 15. So,
yeah, there you go. Yeah, look.
The mer lady, has she kind of reacted to this conversation at all?
She's been listening politely. She is not the ambassador. She's the ambassador's squeeze. But yeah, she is listening. And would you ask her opinion? She does not speak Elvish, is the other thing, which is the language you're having this conversation in.
Mm. Well, I would swap to whatever tongue I use that we have in common, which I believe was common.
Yeah. Just Oceanus doesn't speak it.
Sorry?
Oceanus just doesn't speak common. They were speaking Aquan, which you don't.
Yeah.
So
apologies for having a conversation in a language you don't speak. We kind of don't all three of us have one in common.
No, that's fine.
We were.
How did your conversation with the Koalinth go?
They really want to do some
Kill
slaughtering.
the sea elves.
Yeah.
Yes. They are rather one-track minds about that.
Like, he was talking about some horrible stuff, like that they was sneaking into their birthing pools and slaughtering all the babies. And I hate to think that anyone would do that. And I don't know whether to believe him or not. I mean, we're talking about a conflict that's gone on for 100 years, so maybe it did happen at some point, but...
Beryl insight.
"21."
She has just remembered something.
Ooh.
The look on her face just goes... She's thinking about something. You couldn't say what, though. But that mention of... her facial expression changes when you say murdering the birthing pools.
I'm sorry, I wasn't trying to upset you.
No.
It's not a pretty picture.
It's not. What did he know that sea elves did it?
Well, you said he saw it with his own eyes, but I don't know whether that means the aftermath or the actual slaughter, and now I think about it. So could go either way.
If he actually saw it, then the sea elves that did it would have been brought to justice. He would have killed them, yeah?
Well, yes, so we mustn't have seen him.
Sahaugin eat the young of their prey.
Oh. Oh, no. So the Sahaugin might have been killing babies.
Koalinth are just instinctively up for blaming anything bad on the sea elves.
Oh, God.
They have been at war for as long as anyone can remember. Though who started it is very much up to who you ask.
Well, yes, I kind of got that impression.
In fairness, between the two races, my guess would probably be the Koalinth. But I don't have any proof of that, and the ambassador would tell me off if he heard me say it.
Well, thank you for saying it anyway. I appreciate your insight.
I just don't see what the sea elves would gain from starting it, and they haven't really tried to make any gains off it. Other than to remove a warlike race from their borders, I suppose.
Well, yes, but one hopes they're not into genocide.
But they're not warlike. You're not a warlike race. I don't see why you would pick a war with a warlike race. One that you wouldn't be particularly well equipped to win. This doesn't make sense, unless you thought the element of surprise would be all that you needed.
Which, you know, it's helpful, but it's really, you know...
Not normally enough.
No. Goodness me. Right.
And Garrett has been translating for Oceanus throughout this, and Oceanus weighs in and says, "We have then a suspicion that it was in fact the Sahaugin. They would need more than just a suspicion. But if we could find proof..."
How on earth do we prove that?
I don't know.
Short of finding a Sahaugin, capturing him, poking him with a pointy stick until he admits to it, and then taking him to visit, you know, old mate in the next pond. But even that...
They have a Sahaugin here.
Oh.
Prisoner.
Right.
The lizard folk plan to eat it as a celebration.
Oh.
Once we've formalized the alliance, it's part of the banquet.
Right. Okay.
Othokent told the ambassador. Othokent told Yevgartha.
Right.
And Yevgartha probably shouldn't have told me, but he did.
And you probably shouldn't have told me, but you did.
Well, I didn't know. Did I?
So you couldn't possibly have told me?
Of course not. Told you what?
Yeah, I have no idea what you're talking about.
And the thing I know nothing of is probably in this cellar somewhere.
Do the Sahaugin have a particular aquatic quality that they enjoy? You know how your pool's kind of clear, and then like the Locanthars is kind of murky?
Oh, I believe they're keeping it out of the water.
Oh.
In a normal cell.
Interesting. Well,
you ought to be able to smell it before you find it.
What do they smell like?
Hard to say above the water, but below the water is sort of like rotten flesh.
Ooh. Disgusting. Okay. Well, I'm very glad that we did not have this conversation.
So am I. One of my favorite conversations I never had.
Yes. Well, I hope we'll see you later. I'm sure it's something or other.
Yes, maybe when we get to eat that lovely Sahaugin that I don't know about.
And
she dives back into the pond.
Okay, guys. New plan. We need to find this Sahaugin. And fast. Because if there's someone from this race that they're all kind of head up about, I want to talk to them.
What do you mean to ask it? Hey, do you eat babies?
Well, I wasn't going to lead with that. I was just going to be like, folks around here don't like you very much. What's your side of the story?
Oh, the old good guardsman, bad guardsman routine.
Very much so. I'll come in, be super nice and charming to it, and see if I can catch it off guard and get it to, like, slip the beans, you know? Is slip the beans even the term I'm looking for? I'm talking shit. Let's go!
Very well. You go looking for the Sahaugin. Love it. Love it, Beryl.
I'm like, well, gosh darn it, I'm going to talk to all the races today. Y'all can't stop me.
You might have to talk to the lizard folk in order to find the Sahaugin, too. I just need to ask. So, you don't know where it is. You may have to ask someone. It's a big place down here.
Right. Well, I want to find someone, and I want to be like super casual. It's like, do you guys have cells down here where you keep prisoners?
You know the person to ask.
Would be the counselor we met.
Yeah, probably.
Absolutely.
And you're not far from his office or his rooms.
I would totally do that.
Yeah, actually, they do. It does have a pond. 43. Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, yeah. All right, I can. Yeah. So, would you go back to talk to Sarov?
Yes, I would go back to Sarov and be like, I have heard from no one in particular. There might be a Sahaugin here.
So you knock on Sarov's door, and he takes a little minute, but he opens it and says, "You're back, Miss Ingotsfury."
Sorry. Quick question. I may have heard a little rumor as I was wandering around that there is a Sahaugin held captive here.
There's a slow smile, and he says, "Yes."
And I was wondering, since I've talked to a lot of people today, that I might talk to him as well. Never having met one of his kind before.
You seek many alliances.
Oh, I don't know if he'll be in alliance talk sort of mood. We can certainly feel each other out.
He is in no position, but he will soon be in... He seeks to return to the water. We will put him back in some.
I'm assuming not in a way he's going to enjoy?
Balak swears he will be delicious.
Oh, right. Like a lobster, then. So, I can't talk to him? Or I could?
I see no reason why not. Othokent has given you free rein. Do not release the beast.
Oh, no, I don't have a death wish. That's fine.
Then he tells you where to find it.
Yes.
It is up a couple of passageways. In fact, it is not far from where you currently are. But where where coming out of his rooms, 38, isn't it? Is his room 38? Yeah. So yeah, you had to basically head back up a passageway to get back to his room. To get to the cells, he says you go back towards the ambassador's pools, but before you get there, you make a left. And this heads up into a bunch of other passageways. You pass 2 lefts, 2 rights, and then you take the 3rd right. Obeying these instructions is not overly difficult. It's really just head back the way you came, turn left, and then keep going straight until it makes a T-junction. Then turn right, and you ought to be able to smell it. It actually comes out at the other end of the pools, the ambassador pools, but it's just a quicker way of getting there. Yes, you get to a guard post with 3. It's got 4 lizard folk in it. It's a decent sized room, about 40 feet across. The 4 lizard folk are sitting. They appear to be competitively carving. Each has a tooth, a large sort of a tooth of a predator, like a fang, and they appear to be carving them, but frantically, like really quickly. And every now and again, they stealing looks at each other's, and occasionally, when one has done something interesting, they go, and there's this hissing, the gnashing hissing noise of Draconic as they point in and gesture at these things. They are using their own claws and teeth to do the carving. In what would, from a distance, you can't really get very close to see, appear to be just scrimshaw lines and very much not pictures, but interesting shapes. But they are clearly guards. I don't know how long you...
Do they look like they're almost finished, or...?
It does. It would. You would guess that the competition has been going on for a little while.
Cool. I'll give them a minute to see if they're going to wrap this up or.
You wait, and probably just before your patience runs out, one of them makes a final twist, slams it down, and slams his tooth down on the table, and the others. It is completely incomprehensible about how he's won, but they all seem to agree he has. And all four put their teeth on the table and shove them towards him. And he gathers the four up and admires them and then pockets them. And if you want, you can make a perception check.
Okay. See if the new dice luck holds. That 10.
There is a faint whiff of something rotten in, but it's not that unusual in this place. The lizard folk are not known for refrigeration.
I don't think anyone is at this point in history.
Well, no. But normally you eat it before it goes off, and if you don't eat it before it goes off, you dispose of it. The lizard folk are not so fastidious.
Cool.
Or just have better constitutions.
I'll give a little to get their attention.
And they're listening.
Hello, I'm Beryl, Ingots Fury. I'm here representing the town of Bottledown. Your wonderful queen has given me permission to kind of go around and talk to some folks while I'm here, and I would like to have a word with your prisoner.
And Garak has been translating this. So there's been a constant, steady stream of...
I try to look important.
You do that. And make a persuasion check. Please, 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 please don't fuck it up. 22! The one that won would appear to be the largest as well. And he just sort of looks you up and down, shrugs, and says, and Garak says, he is just suggesting that we do not, under any circumstances, let it out. If we free the Sahaugin, he and his men will kill us.
Oh.
There will be no negotiating or quarter. He will just kill us. That is his job. Which is fair. And I have assured him we will not do so.
Oh, absolutely not. You're rude.
He doesn't seem to mind as long as we don't.
Okay, cool. Can I approach then?
Well, there is a door. It is the first, really quite solid door you have found down here. Most of them are ramshackle. It's really just for privacy more than soundproofing. This one looks like it would be difficult to get through without time and a key. However, there is a key in the lock, and it is not complicated to open. The beast is not on the far side of this door. This opens into a jail, a line of 4 jail cells.
Right. Cool.
3 of them have ponds in them. The 4th does not have a pond. It has an empty hole in the ground that presumably used to have a pond in it, and an angry-looking 10-foot-tall beast possessed of 4 arms. Well, actually 4 forearms, 4 upper arms, and a pair of legs as well as a tail, and some fishy, vaguely shark-like features on its green-skinned face. Now, just let me quickly check what languages Sahaugin speak. Ah, interesting.
Not common.
Nope.
Is this the moment where I find out I have no language in common with this creature, and I can't
they
actually...
only speak Sahaugin. So what do you do? The other 3 cells are empty, though one does contain a rotten. It would probably be hard to guess what it used to be, but it's definitely dead. The smell, however, is not coming exclusively from that cell. And now you're in here, it's not hard to detect it.
Right, cool.
So what do you do?
Guess I'll try talking to it in my various languages and see if any of them sound enough like Sahaugin that it can get the gist.
Yeah.
So I'll kind of say, hello, I'm Beryl the Bard, and kind of common, dwarvish, elvish, and orc, and kind of judge its reaction.
When you get to orc, it narrows its eyes. And it says, not speak in orc.
As in, it doesn't speak orc?
That would be the best guess, because it doesn't say anything else. But it does appear interested in communicating. Its eyes are completely black. It doesn't have pupils, so guessing what it's thinking is difficult. It has very much the manner of a deep sea predator about it, and it eyes you with this cold, blank, unblinking stare. But it's interested. It's wanting to talk to you. It just doesn't know how. It looks mildly upset that the only language you seem to speak that it knows, even what you said, is orc, and it can't talk back.
Hey guys, Joel's want to just quickly try out your various languages and see if you speak anything he might understand?
Oceanus says, "You will probably understand Aquan."
Do you mind having a go?
I'll try. And the Sahaugin sees the sea elf and bares its teeth, and it has, very much like a shark, rows and rows, all disjointed, jagged. The inside of its mouth, it's almost like it's ripped apart by its own teeth a bit, but it doesn't seem to care. So it's got a more of like just raw flesh.
Oh, look, Oceanus, he likes you. He's grinning.
Yes. What is it you want to ask it?
Oh, well, if it understands you, for starters.
And Oceanus, the noise that comes out of his mouth is like bubbles. It's impossible to replicate. But somewhere between waves crashing and bubbles. And the Sahaugin responds in a similar manner, though for flavor, it's each aquatic race. It's the sort of thing that they understand intuitively, and Oceanus says his communication skills are very basic. It's like talking to a toddler, but they are not known for their brain. Well, a few of them are, but not this one, I would imagine. Otherwise, he would have been freed by now if he was important enough to have a brain. But what is it you want to say? I will translate. He understands what I'm saying. He just doesn't have a huge capacity to respond.
Okay. Well, could you tell him who I am and where I'm from, basically?
Are you sure you want this creature knowing where you are from?
Well, not specifically.
Just a land place.
I'm a land dweller, yeah.
Right. I shall. He does, and the Sahaugin really doesn't seem to care. Like he looks at you once and then looks back to Oceanus like, and And in fact, his response is, and Oceana says, his response is, and?
Well, tell him that there are a lot of folks around here that are very keen for us to join the fight against his people. And that if he has a good reason why we shouldn't do that, he should probably tell me now.
Oceanus tells him this, and the thing's response is, more fight. Good. Tasty.
Could you ask him, does he mean that if I was to fall in battle to him, he would eat me?
That is not unusual for them.
Yeah, but I want to be clear.
Very well.
I'm trying something here. Roll with it.
It is... Oceanus will do so. This thing does not respond verbally, but it grins. It bares all of its teeth. And his head bangs against the bars. I don't know how close you would be to them, but
Not
it was
that close.
clearly an attempt at intimidation.
Okay, he's trying to intimidate me, I think. Alrighty.
Beryl, if you like, you could do a medicine check.
Ooh. Medicine check, you say? 4.
My God, woman. Well, you don't know shit about this creature.
Sorry.
It might be...
I changed my dice and everything.
No, it's
and
fine.
Apparently,
I'm
I only
not
got
cross
2
with
good
you.
rolls.
I'm just impressed. I'm not angry. I'm just disappointed. No, it's fine. I was going to let you know a little bit about him physically, like if he would look like he was standard for his race, but you just don't know shit.
I don't know shit. Good to know that I don't know shit.
And Oceana says, but consuming the whole body, I don't think they do it. It's an intimidation thing. They're predators.
They just have a chew, you know. They have a little nibble to make a point. Right. Okay, could you ask him if he and his people have been doing any preemptive nibbling, and that's why everyone's so mad at him?
You know that they have. Or are you
I want to see his
double
reaction.
checking? Okay, right.
I want to see his reaction.
Right.
To me, basically, because have you been going off and eating folks?
Yeah. Oceana says, right. And once more, this flooding noise comes out of his mouth. And Sahaugin response is, always. All our prey, given to us by that which lurks.
I assume that means they are God?
A fair bet.
Okay. Well, could you ask him...
That was certainly the most poetic thing he's ever said.
Okay, not his first language. Could you...
It actually is.
It's
is literally all of our first language.
Okay.
So this is our ancestors' very, very first language. It might not be the one he learned as a child, but they don't really do that.
Yeah, I gotcha. Okay, could you ask him, in his opinion, which race tastes best?
You're a sick puppy, Beryl in its fury.
I'm trying a thing on here. I promise it makes sense in my sick puppy head.
Yes. Garrett chuckles. And for the first time, Oceanus actually has a slight smile when he turns back and says, and asks the question. And the Sahaugin, like looks him up and down, smiles again, and says, sea elf.
Oh, tell him I know he's only saying that because you're right there.
I ask him for second favorite. And yes, he would say, I mean, this is an approximation. It probably can't do that complicated a facial expression, but Locanthah.
Oh, right.
Although he called them the shallow dwellers, but I believe that's what that means.
Gotcha.
Though
Okay.
apparently merfolk are also tasty.
Right.
Probably because they are, in fact, fish below the waist. Like, you'd probably like merfolk.
Oh.
If you cut it off below the waist, you wouldn't know. You genuinely wouldn't know.
Well, you'd have to do it.
Not that I've ever actually tried it. Not that I've ever.
Good to be clear. Could I move a little closer to the bars? Like, not close enough that he could reach through and grab me, but just, like,
Beryl.
move a little closer.
Garrett mutters, and then sort of, it seems like he stops himself. But you could hear both him and Garuk, like, just putting their hands on weapon hilts. And yes, you do that. To what end?
And I kind of look into his deep, dark eyes. Like, I've been, like, smiling. I've been looking calm and pleasant.
Sure.
And does he respond in any way to me doing that?
Yeah. You have now stepped beyond Oceanus, and Oceanus, he says something. He turns and almost has to bend double to bring his head to your level. But he does it in the most intimidating way he possibly can. Like, he actually attempts to tower over you whilst obviously still stuck behind the bars. And he says something. And Oceana says, "Oh." He says, and I'm quoting here, "What you want, dwarf girl." Well, sorry. His exact wording was, "No beard dwarf."
You know, kind of means.
Yes.
I got the gist. Okay. Tell him I want to know what he wants.
The message is relayed. The Sahaugin turns, stomps back into the pond that has been drained for its inconvenience, and sits down. It says, "Freedom."
Mm.
And it says it in common.
Do I get from this that he understands, like he speaks common, or he just knows this word?
Knows that word.
Ask him what he would do with his freedom.
The response is, "Kill lizard folk."
Yeah, I was kind of worried he'd say that.
I don't think he thinks he's getting out of here.
Oh, I don't think he is either.
So he is being honest because he doesn't think there's any chance that anything he says will affect his position. Which is honestly the best person to ask any questions you want to ask.
How do you think he'd respond to a very blunt question?
He may not have been the one that did it. If any of them did, but you can always ask.
Sometimes people's responses to such questions answer them better than whatever they say in response.
It would make a certain kind of sense. The Sahaugin leaders wouldn't want an alliance. The lizard folk are not fully aquatic. They could be chased away from the waters. The Sahaugin don't want the land. The sea elves are sea elves. The Koalinth are primarily aquatic. We are the two more warlike, if the sea elves could be said to be more warlike, of the native water races. You want to keep your two primary adversaries at odds.
Yes, we do.
All of that, it makes a nasty kind of sense. I'll ask. What? Yeah. Sorry, your wording, please. I prefer it.
Tell him that some say that his folk eat the babies of the Locanthah.
Of the Locanthah.
That's the wrong race, isn't it?
Koalinth?
Koalinth, thank you. Too many races.
He's expressed a love of eating Locanthah, but yeah. Yes, he just smiles again. Yeah, he says one word, and Oceanus goes, chum.
Oh, that's not a very pretty mental picture at all.
No. Sorry. That was it's actually worse, but that's the closest I'm prepared to go.
Would that be a yes, then, you think?
It wasn't a no.
Can I insight this creature, perhaps?
Yeah, sure.
Because he might be fucking with me.
He might be fucking with you.
17.
You don't... This is not a clever being. He has determined to his satisfaction that he's not getting out of here. The lizard folk would never let him out.
No.
He is being slowly starved, and he knows the lizard folk well enough to know that they eat people too. He cannot imagine why he would be being kept. He's not important. He's not a smart Sahaugin. The ones in charge are clever. This one isn't. He knows that as well as you do. He's not important. He is tasty. And he knows his days are numbered, but he's also not even really clever enough to care. So he is swinging because he doesn't have anything left to lose. He is, however, enjoying fucking with you.
So he might not eat babies.
Well, you know they do. You've been told by other people that they do. It's whether or not they eat Koalinth babies specifically, which you've asked. And yes, so Koalinth are born in hatcheries in large numbers. And it's sort of a salmon rush. Merfolk give birth to live young, one at a time. Sea elves,
less of a buffet situation.
Yeah, it's and they don't then store them all in one place. The Locanthah are egg layers, which you would know from your book that you read that one time. That was mostly wrong, but it's hard to get that sort of information wrong. But yes, they lay eggs, and then the males fertilize them and then look after them until they hatch, at which point you have hundreds of little Locanthah, many of which do not make it to adulthood. They are fish, in most regards. But Koalinth are, in my interpretation, and all of this is Josh's bullshit, my interpretation of Koalinth is that they are... don't know if fungus can be aquatic, but... my green skin races are all fungus. So orc goblins, they're all bugbears even are all fungoid. So when one dies, you have to burn the body, or else it'll spore. And so you can wipe out an orc tribe, and a couple of years later, you'll have new orcs coming, unless you burn the bodies. They will literally spring out of the ground like daisies. And Koalinth, yes, it is. They don't have males and females. They're all just Koalinth. They don't breed. When one carks it, they put it in a plankton bed and wait for it to sprout. And they have birthing pools where they leave the dead, and the bodies are eaten by the young, and they grow into new ones.
Lovely.
There you go. That's Josh's lore on the Koalinth. And so these, and obviously, so a rotting Koalinth corpse would be, underwater particularly, for a shark-like creature, a real draw. Also, probably not that nice to live near, so you probably wouldn't keep them near your house. So the Koalinth probably wouldn't live too near their own breeding beds.
Okay. Oceanus.
Guruk has a suggestion, but
yes?
what do you want to say first?
Well, I was going to tell him that where I come from, if a prisoner is condemned to die, they're allowed a final request.
Oh, you had the same idea I did. Guruk would in fact say, yes, you had the same idea I had. I was going to offer him a last meal.
Well, yes. I was going to say final request, usually food-based. That's something they would like to eat before they shuffle off this mortal coil. Speak now, or I'll be getting away from this creepy prison cell.
Oceanus says, okay. He asks, the creature responds, and Oceana says, oh, that's not on the menu. This creature has seen Othokent's children.
Oh God. That's horrible.
And the Sahaugin laughs.
I'm going to give him the finger. Don't know if that translates, but I'm sure he'll get the idea.
It looks and then unfolds all four of its middle fingers right back at you.
Well, if he wasn't a bloodthirsty son of a bitch, I might kind of like him. He probably knows, but tell him that's not really an option. So he can come up with something a little more realistic, or I'll be on my way.
Make me a persuasion check on behalf of Oceanus.
Not a 20!
If there was a time to get it, Beryl. The laughter stops. And it says, he asks if you have any young you don't mind giving up.
Ay.
Or perhaps a Locanthah. And it is keeping on talking, which is why he's relaying it slowly. Or maybe a Koalinth. Apparently, they're crunchier.
Inform him that I'm unable to sanction the consumption of intelligent life, but I can get him, I don't know, a frog.
It shrugs.
Indifferent then? Babies or nothing?
The creature laughs again. After Oceanus relays that babies or nothing. It says, please no tadpoles.
Okay. Well, I think I've been sufficiently entertained by this little endeavor.
Did you get what you needed?
More or less, I think.
I don't know if we were ever going to get a confirmation creature.
No.
Whether or not we were going to even if we did, how would you then... You go get the Koalinth, bring it back here and say, tell him what you just told me. Bear in mind, I would have to be in the room.
Oh, and there's no way that's going well.
No.
No,
Koalinth,
it's more for my own edification, I suppose.
I think we have a viable theory. But that's all it is. And it's not the Koalinth's only reason for hating the Sea Elves. It's just that.
Oh, no, like,
that
I could have, like, a moving picture of this dude and his mates eating their babies, and I could show it to him. And I don't think he'll magically, be inclined to be best friends with y'all.
No.
Though he might be slightly distracted by, reducing this creature's society to dust.
The Koalinth are clearly not opposed to being at war with two different species at once.
No, it's more things for him to eat,
Well, exactly.
Right. Well, I need a drink and a snack and a little quiet moment to myself. So let's see if we can find somewhere to accomplish these things.
Yes. In my wanderings while you were chatting with the Koalinth, I did find a hall. Some sort of, it was, I believe, a communal cooking and eating area.
That'll do.
He leads the way. And I think there might be a good place for a bracelet.
Yeah.
You don't have a no from the Koalinth, but you don't have a yes. I suppose would be the takeaway of this for all this.
I wasn't expecting to be like, oh shit, I love eating babies. I eat babies all the time. You put me anywhere near babies, I'll be eating them. But, yeah.
Kind of hoping for more.
More open to the idea than I like people being. Like, if you go to someone, do you like to eat children? You really want them to come back with a hard no.
Hard no, yeah. But, and I will say with your 25, with that nat 20, you do think it wasn't just him fucking with you.
Yeah.
He was like, no, I'll eat a baby. Babies are delicious. Yeah. He may not have been the one that did it, but it's entirely likely that a Sahaugin did. And would feel zero remorse about it.
Yeah.
And in fact, I will also tell you, with that 17 insight, it would seem to be a tenet of their faith that literally everything else is there to be prey for them. They worship that which lurks.
Cool. So if it's not them, it's food.
Dishes. Yeah.
They don't have friends. They have meals.
Yeah.
Cool.
Friends are just a meal you haven't eaten yet.
Well,
Alrighty.
slap that on a bumper sticker.
Alrighty, guys. Well, we will go and have a quick breaklet and be back in 5 minutes or so. Thank you so much for joining us this evening. Having a lovely game so far. We'll be back very shortly. Say goodbye, Karen.
Bye.
Vast ahoy and g'day, mateys. We'll be back for more Beryl, Ingot's Fury, in the lair of the lizard folk Queen Othokent. Beryl's just gone for a drink and something to eat with her mates, her pals, her buddies, Garrett, Garruk, and Oceanus, after interviewing a Sahaugin, the evil, foul creatures that...
really like eating babies.
Yeah, apparently eat babies. Who knew?
Oh, it's nice when you find out something's into eating babies. Like, really brightens up your evening.
Oh, wow. Delicious. So yeah, you head up a couple more passageways and find yourselves in a large eating hall style area. There is about 20-30 lizard folk in there. Some of them, hey, Mr. and Mrs. Crafting, big hug, big lurk, you're very welcome. Thank you for joining us. Good to see you. You they pay you some attention, but not a lot. Like they're just not interested. A few of them do pay a little bit more interest to Garruk because he is a dragon folk, or dragonborn rather, and therefore a little bit more interesting to them. But yeah, you do that, there is several fire pits spread around the edge. Most of the lizard folk in here are, well, they're all adults as well. You have seen only a very few younglings around. There are several pots on the go, but it seems to be a sort of help yourself situation. If you're up for lizard folk cooking.
Look, when in Rome.
Would you go to a pot then?
Yeah, I'd go to a pot.
There doesn't appear to be much in the way of cutlery or utensils, but like slabs of vaguely finished wood, like platters essentially, would appear to be the plate substitutes, and the pot contains a large amount of brown fluid in which lumps keep bubbling up, essentially. They appear mostly to be chunks of meat. Quite well cooked at this point, bones sticking out and all that.
Doesn't smell.
Okay. Make a survival check, I think.
Because stew tends to look like shit, but taste really nice, so...
Yep.
10.
It smells spicy.
Okay.
It smells spicier than you were expecting. It probably doesn't smell anything like what you were expecting. I imagine Beryl was expecting something fairly uncomplicated, like meat broth. But actually, it smells like it stings the nostrils a bit.
Ooh.
And Garruk leans in next to you and, oh, this I must try.
Doesn't smell too bad, do it?
He makes a sort of net out of his hand, like claw, and scoops out some onto a platter. He says, "Excuse fingers," and brings it back to the table. And it's about sort of 24 chunks of decent-sized chunks of meat still on the bone.
Cool.
Oceanus and Garrett sort of eye the meat. It's clearly a mammal.
Yeah, it's like, does it look like seafood?
It's not fish. But beyond that, like, it's not a bird either. You definitely think it's a mammal. But beyond that, it'd be impossible to guess. And Oceanus and Garrett both sort of eye it. But Garruk picks up a piece in 3 of his claws and pops it into his mouth and then just pulls the bone out. And goes, "It's not on a stick, but it's pretty close."
Well, it was on a stick until you removed it from the stick.
Well, yeah, I suppose.
I'm going to try some.
What would Beryl's tolerance towards spicy food be?
Well, she's a traveller, so better than average.
Okay.
She's eaten some weird stuff in her day. She's not like me. who
This is
starts
pushing...
sweating at the hint of chilling.
Yeah. This is definitely pushing Beryl's tolerance. Can I have, the DC is quite low, a con save?
Come on, dice. 19!
Hey! Yeah. Beryl goes a little red in the face. You've got a lot of colour in your cheeks. Too much of this and you need a glass of milk, but you are okay. Oceanus nibbles a bit. Just tears a chunk off.
It's quite spicy.
Oh. I have never really understood land people's taste for other mammalian flesh.
Well, if it doesn't talk, it's generally considered fair game.
Dolphins don't talk, but you don't see me eating them.
Beryl has a awkward moment where she tries to think whether she might have intentionally or otherwise at some point in her life eaten dolphin.
Probably not.
Probably not. So you
and they would probably taste fishier than most fish, most mammals.
So you would eat a fish, but not a dolphin?
No. No, I wouldn't eat a dolphin.
Interesting.
They don't talk, but they are intelligent. They are...
Well, this is true. This is true. Like,
very friendly creatures, as long as you can swim.
Like, I would be uncomfortable eating a horse for the same reason.
But you don't stint at cow.
Cows are pretty dumb. I don't know if you've ever met one.
I don't know.
Pretty stupid.
So it's
like
intelligence that's what makes it okay.
Yeah, does it have the intelligence to object to being eaten?
Well, most creatures have the intelligence to object to being eaten.
No, they have the intelligence to object to dying. The eating is just what happens later.
Oh, I see. That's the distinction for you.
See, is where if you were to try and kill me...
Garrett says, can we not? Can we not?
No, Garrett, I want to clarify this. Because if I die, if there are other options, you do not have permission to eat me.
No, I wouldn't. And I don't know if I want to eat this cow now. Are there other options?
Very nice, Garrett. You should try it and be a good guess.
All
No,
right.
what I'm saying is, if we're trapped up on, say, a glacier, and there's no food, no plants, and no way to get out of there, you just have to wait to be rescued, and the only option is meat.
It's not horrible. I don't hate it. I don't hate it. It's just it's a lot, you know. It's a lot. Garrett, do you have any more of that? Oh, do you have any more of that beer? And Garruk pulls out a hip flask and plonks it on the table in front of Garrett, smiling broadly.
And
this is not quite Chalderanian cuisine, my friend.
And those specific circumstances in which I am dead and cannot have an opinion, you may eat me to survive.
Are you sure I can't have some now to wash this down with?
Nah, I don't think I'll taste too good right now.
You're probably covered in muck. Alright, sorry, yeah.
I've been in and out of a lot of different pools today.
Yeah, a lot of ponds, alright.
A lot of ponds. And I ate
quite salty.
I ate that weird kelp thing as well. I don't know how that'll go down.
Well, it might actually make you taste a little bit more fishy. Good for the salt,
Just punched my own mic.
This is oddly morbid, given the conversation we had with the Sahaugin just a little minute ago.
Look, I just wanted to clarify that if cannibalism is the only option, it's okay.
Is it cannibalism if we're not dwarves?
Oh, gosh.
Like, what's the line, cannibal-wise? I would not consider eating a lizard folk.
No, me neither.
And then another lizard folk, a lizard folk less than like two, like on the next table. Because he says this quite loudly, with like specifically, and one of the others turns and hisses at him, sort of, and he says, apparently, I am now being asked why. Oh, sorry, apparently I am now being asked why not.
Well, it would be rude.
And he seems to now be trying to diffuse an argument over whether or not a lizard folk would be tasty.
Tell him I think it'd probably taste fabulous. That, whatever this is great. So I'm sure that if he was to be cooked and presented to us, he would taste fabulous. But that's not the point here. We can have a conversation. It's just rude to eat something you can have a conversation with. Like...
Beryl, these creatures intend to eat something you just had a conversation with.
I know, but I don't want to put it in those terms. Like, for example, take ratness, for example.
No, don't take rat. We like ratness.
No, I'm not gonna eat ratness. Because while she may not speak in languages and stuff, she can, communicate. It would be rude to eat her.
This conversation has gotten very bizarre.
I feel willfully misunderstood at this point, I tell you.
What's wrong with my flesh? Not good enough for you? Yeah, exactly, Bishop Blood. No one understands.
It doesn't help that I recently listened to a podcast about the miracle in the Andes where they very much survived by eating dead bodies.
Long pork, I am informed, isn't too bad.
You are informed? By whom, pray tell?
My brother from another mother.
Oh. He might know.
For our audience's edification, I am good family friends with a Fijian gentleman whose grandmother did eat people.
People
as the end of the shaman.
Recently.
At the end of the she is the very end of the shamanic line of the Fijian people, and yes, city's granny. Yeah, it's like veal apparently. I would but yeah, she says it was quite pleasant. Obviously cooked properly, Hey, Spina, good to see you. You've come in on a weird one, mate.
Yeah, because there was that fuss relatively recently that they'd killed and eaten someone in Fiji.
Yes, I don't know anything about it. I genuinely don't know anything about that one. But yeah,
there was something about someone being killed and eaten. I think it was Fiji. I mean, once they're dead, why not? Well, that was the thing. In the Miracle in the Andes, they didn't kill anyone to eat them. It was just that they were there and they were starving to death. And, the only food was the other people who were already dead, so...
Yeah, why not? I like coming in with
If I was
things.
dead and Josh's only option to avoid starvation long enough to be rescued was to eat me, I'd forgive him. Just the I would just like it on record that I did not start the eating people thing. That is on Josh.
Feel wronged and maligned and wronged. I just made an innocent comment about chum of babies, but they were goblin babies.
It's not better because they're goblin babies.
I think you'll find it is. Kill my own chickens, I eat them. I see no difference. Alright. So you're having an innocent, quiet little conversation. The Garak manages to defuse the situation with his new friend on the next table who's like, why won't you eat me? Here's my leg.
Chew in.
Baby cat, fat cat. Exactly. Intense Quack is raiding. Oh, thank you very much for the raid, Intense Quack.
What was the quack joke you made accidentally the other night?
I said the wrong word. I just stumbled
Autoquacks. Instead of autocrats, you said...
Yes, autoquats. I said autoquat. Bureauquacks.
Bureauquack, that was it. Our family came from a long line of bureauquacks.
Yes. Hey, quackers. Good to see you guys. What have you been doing? I'm just going to shout out our raiders. Shout out...
We've been talking about cannibalism.
Yeah, we have. Weirdly. They were playing Devour. How appropriate. Good. I hope you had fun. What's that about? And Helm...
Oh, because it's Devour, and we've been
I know, it's good, isn't it? It's an interestingly appropriate game that... Cannibalism, kind of powerful, not gonna lie. Yeah, okay. Word.
He started it.
Wacky. Alright. Cool. Well, let's continue then. So you're sitting at the table, not eating a person. Best as you can tell, it's some sort of mammal. But like red meat.
Yeah.
I believe person is white meat. And it's quite pleasant. You like it. Garrett's a bit, maybe not. Like it's a little hot for him. Horror and spooks, and I'm a coward. Ah, I see. That's okay. I won't hold that one against you.
I'm very picky about what horror I am prepared to consume. Anything to
consume? Word choice. You did that. So, what do you do next? Basically, you are also aware that you've kind of got to talk to the folks as well. Talk to the people.
I'm gonna be like, hey guys, do you think these people are the kind of people that appreciate an impromptu performance with their lunch?
Yeah, it might be a boar, maybe. Rabbit's a bit small, yeah. These are fairly chunky bits of meat. Garrick says, always try. I don't see a huge amount of raw vegetables around here to get thrown at if they don't like it.
Well, nothing ventured, nothing gained. And I'm going to scout out which area of this room is most like a stage.
Probably the table you're sitting at. There isn't really one.
Right. I will pull out my flute and quickly summon Ratnus.
Yes, of course.
Which means I need to roll.
I am going to head you off there about summoning Ratnus.
They might eat her?
If you're going to do your normal trick of, here's a performing rat, they may not interpret it the way you intend.
Right, screw that. I'll just pull out my dulcimer, climb on the table, and bust out some Akadaka.
Sure, okay. So you're going metal this time.
Well, the appropriate equivalent in this situation.
Right, okay. But, yeah, sure. So more dwarf music than halfling music.
Yeah. Lean into my roots.
Okay. Make me a performance check. And is there an intent other than just to entertain?
Oh, I'm trying to make them think like I'm trying to show them a good time. So if I then go over and have a chat to them, they'd be like, I'm pre-greasing the wheels, so to speak.
Okay, pre-greasing the wheels. A 24. You do a bitchin' performance.
Yeah.
Dwarves are heavy metal. Yeah, dead set. In this world anyway, otherwise it would be Mapatch. Yes, you do that. And it goes over. You would make me an insight check as well, actually. I think because these are creatures that you don't really. They just have other different ways about them. 17.
17.
You get that it's probably going over quite well. This is the right vibe. You've struck the right chord, as it were, if you pardon the pun. You have greased the wheels a little bit after Garak's initial accidental faux pas regarding refusal to eat a lizard folk if one was offered. Then what?
Cool.
So you're on your table. Pretty much, so I want to paint the scene. There is 40-odd lizard folk in this essentially a large cafeteria. All just having dinner, having a good old time. It's pretty rowdy, pretty raucous. 4 random strangers come in. It's generally, it goes around the room. There's a bit of a, who the fuck is that? But it's all all around the room. So you probably don't get a thing about it. You may not even have noticed, but Garak would have told you that, yes, your entry did cause a little bit of a stir, but a couple of people were fully aware that your presence was authorized by Othokent, so no bones were made about it. And so you sit down at a table in the middle of the room, help yourself to dinner, and then, after having a mild argument about the tastiness or otherwise of lizard folk, you get up on the table and begin playing an instrument, pretty much apropos of nothing. And it goes pretty well. For all that, they're like, okay, sure. Why not? Why not? These people are into percussion. And about halfway through your song, there is a group of them do start banging on the table. Very much just... like, sort of in tune. But they seem to be enjoying themselves.
Cool. I finish with flair.
They, rather than clapping, because that's just not what they do, at the end, once it is clear that you have stopped, there is this, starts at the back of the room, and you hear this sort of noise, and it seems like most of them sort of rear their heads back and make the same sort of rasping, vibrating noise with their throats. Thanks, Bina. Yes. It is inspired in my head by a vague memory from a documentary about the noise a group of lizards make when a hatching is about to open. But it's more just sort of nice real lizard lore. Thank you. Yeah. You would probably infer with your 17 that this is approval.
Cool. I take a bow and get off the table.
Well, that was good. Why did you do that?
Oh, I'm hoping to make some friends.
Oh.
Music's often the way to a person's heart.
Like, lean into your strengths, Beryl. I'm not disagreeing with you. I just wondered. Oh, good job. It was a good one as well. I like that.
Oh, thank you. I don't suppose... Wonder if any of them speak common. Otherwise, I'm going to have to rope you guys into translating for me.
This is why I am here. I will happily go with you. You wish to talk to some of these people?
Yeah, let's go for a stroll and just make idle chit-chat.
Well, we'll stay here then. I'm ready to jump in if you need, yeah?
Thank you, I appreciate that.
And Oceanus gingerly continues eating this single piece of meat that he's been having a go at. He doesn't seem to dislike it, it's just like, yeah. It's just not normal for him.
Yeah.
Yeah, music and food are universal languages. And math. And taxes. You would go find another table to go and...
Yeah, basically would find another table and kind of be like, oh, can we sit down and have a chat with you guys?
Oh, you do that. The response after a 24 performance check is a sure if you like. And you sort of get that from the physicality before Garak actually translates it. And we are kindly welcome to. Yes, we are doing Ghost of Salt Marsh, Jack. Oceanus is the sea elf, yes. Though she's got a couple of other offsiders as well. There's actually a party of 4 of them at the moment because she decided she wanted more friends and I had to make more up. Yeah, this is Danger at Dunwater.
Oh yeah, I just kind of keep picking up buddies. Yep. Anyway, and
it'd be really awkward when you have to lose some of them, otherwise you've got a party of like 12 NPCs just hanging around.
It's me and my army of NPCs. And I'll start off like super cash, just asking them questions about, who they are, what they do.
The answer's mostly hunters. Although one particularly large specimen at the end of the table appears to be a chief. Garak says, the word translates literally as render.
Oh. And what exactly would that mean?
As in to rend?
Oh. So he cuts people in half?
I don't believe it's that cut and dried, but I'm normally tearing, I think.
Oh, right.
He is enormous. This lizard folk is huge, as in built. Yeah, Doc Croc, think that sort of. In fact, I've got a picture of him. What am I even doing? Where is he? Yeah. Oop. There he is. He's a big lad. There you go. And, yeah.
Oh, yeah, you wouldn't want to tangle with him in a dark alley.
Yeah, he has propped up against the wall behind him. At first, you took it for a door, but it's not. It's got a bunch of animal teeth and horns, like, hammered through it. And it would seem it to be an enormous shield. It would seem to be a guard when asked what he does. A royal guard.
Oh, cool. Oh, Beryl's gonna try and like casually bring up, you know, why they're here and stuff, just to kind of see, like, kind of in a, how are you guys doing? I know you've kind of had been forced to come here. How are you adjusting?
Ooh. So just trying to keep the conversation light and fluffy?
Yeah,
Initially?
like kind of inching towards the crux, but just tiptoeing around the edge, just like, yeah, how have you guys been going since you came here? You know, it must be a bit of an adjustment.
Make me a... Ooh. Persuasion, I think. It really is a diplomacy check, but there isn't one in this edition. Let's call it persuasion. You're quite good at that. Subtlety check, I suppose, is really the trick.
That is a 14.
14. 14 for subtlety. You skirt around the issue quite well. The chap at the end of the table who you pick up, his name is Lacklash.
Ooh, cool name.
Expresses that they will soon retake their home. The rest, however, are like, yeah, look, it is what it is. But they're all, in fact, these are Lacklash's mates, so they would actually be more like, yeah, a little bit more fired up when he expresses. He basically, they start out with the, you know, we'll be fine, and then he just one massive claw pounds on the table, says, soon we will retake our home. Soon the Sahaugin will flee. Soon we need not live in this swamp.
I mean, like, I agree. Swamp's not the nicest place to be. And I'm kind of like, it seems like you were going to have some allies in the fight. It's going to be good, right?
On this matter, he has a strong opinion. So, you rolled perception last time, not persuasion. But 14 was still fine.
Sorry.
But,
too many P words.
Yeah, make another persuasion.
A persuasion.
Because this is a +5, not a +3, so it's
12.
12. Yeah, he has a strong opinion about this. Oh dear. He roars. Oh no, he's I wouldn't say he's there yet. Yes, he would say, lizard folk are strong. We don't need allies. We need to go back. Allies only make us weaker.
I'm curious why you would think that.
Allies tell us what to do. Spread our strength out.
I suppose you're allowed to feel that way. For me, I would have thought having allies means that, less of you would be likely to die in the conflict.
Make a persuasion.
Watch my rolls go down the loo. 7!
Oh no. You would tell lizard folk what to do?
Well, not me personally, no. I'm just a bard.
Lizard folk only obey strong! And in one very swift motion, Beryl, he reaches behind him and grabs his shield. This thing, it is half the size of a barn door, and he just raises it up with one massive arm and brings it right down toward you. And at the very last second, you are hit in the side by a small halfling figure who knocks you off the chair you're on. And can I get... Jack, can you roll me a d20 in chat as a dex save for Garrett? As you hear this, Beryl, look out! And Garrett flies into your side, knocking you out of the way of a blow that could well have bisected you. The chair you were sitting on splinters. And Beryl, you stagger backwards. And Spina, if Jack's not there or Jack is lurking, Spina, one or other of you, I don't mind whichever does it. Exclamation mark roll space 20 for the dex save. See if Garrett can avoid clocking this damage his own self. Space 20. Come on, Spina. You can do it. A 3. Oh, no. Chat's rolls have been awful tonight. Yeah. Garrett manages to dodge the worst of this. However, Garrett takes the blow on his shoulder and rolls out badly, coming to his feet with a grimace of pain, but drawing his weapons regardless. The room goes silent.
Oh, no, I don't think that's necessary. Ow.
Garrett is in front of you, weapon drawn, and this Lakash, stands, and with one paw moves this huge table out of the way.
Oh, God.
Brings his shield up, and there is a smile on his face. As Garrett enters this, you seek order, lizard folk. And he says this in common. You prove. Seeing Garrett interpose himself between you, a female who was sitting at the table picks up a long spear and moves to stand behind Lakash. With her, she picks up a long spear and stalks to take position behind him. He raises his shield to cover both of them, so he's in front, she's behind, and the spear comes up over his left shoulder. He smiles and says, "This Saruth," by way of explanation. The other onlooking lizard folk clear a 30-foot wide circle in the center of the chamber and seem to be watching with keen interest.
Does anyone want to explain what I'm expected to do in this situation?
And Garak says, "I think you are about to have a fight."
He'll crush me like a twig.
Well, fortunately, you have young Garrett there with you.
He'll crush Garrett like a twig. No offense, Garrett.
No, you could be right. Do we have any choice, though?
Yes, do we have a choice?
You have a round, I will say. He seems to be waiting for you to make the first move, but if you don't make it soon... He and his friend are slowly circling.
I'm sorry. I wasn't intending to start a fight. I was merely trying to elucidate the benefits of cooperation in times of war.
And Garak says, "I think he might be too." And the creature roars, "Prove!" And please roll initiative.
Ah, shit. This is not what I wanted to do with my gun.
Regardless of how much you don't want to have a fight, this one does.
14.
A 14 from Beryl.
Wonder if sleep at 3rd level would be enough to knock both of them out.
Oh dear. A 19 and a 3. Can I get a D20 in chat for Garrett?
Chat, I could really use a good number.
Lakash and Ruth. Ruth got a 3. Lakash got a 19.
The dog can't decide whether she wants to be in or out of the room, and it's getting
Of course not.
really tiring. In or out? Make a choice.
Well,
I give it 30 seconds before she asks to go out again.
You can just go over here and roll initiative.
You could go over there and roll
There
initiative.
you go. 14. Boom. He got the same you did. But I think yours is higher. Your dex... His is a +3. What's your dex?
My dex is also a +3.
In which case, you two can choose which one of you wants to go first. But
Okay,
before
okay.
you do, Lakash is going to charge at you with his shield out in front.
Goody.
This is an attack called Shield Bash. And he is going to charge at both of you, making a melee attack against each of you. Beryl does a... he is a plus... Where am I looking? Smash. He's a 16.
Equals beats.
Cool. He also got an 18 to hit Garrett, which is more than necessary. So he clocks both of you with his shield. Can you both please make me strength saves?
Yay, my forte.
Garrett succeeds.
I rolled a 1.
Garrett manages to block and just sort of takes the charge of this thing. However, he is going to roll to hurt both of you with his attack. He does. It's 1d8 plus 1d6. So, Beryl, you take 7 bludgeoning and 4 piercing damage. As this shield just sort of slams into you, knocking you sideways. Garrett takes only 6 on the dice plus 3, so 9 points of damage all up. As he is also copped a good one. That's right. He also actually took some damage from being hit before, so that's another 3. So he is down to 21 hit points. As Garrett also takes this hit. Not great, not ideal, but there we are. That is his turn, however, and his shield bash is a recharge ability. So, next is, he has moved in 15 feet in a straight line. That's his action and everything. So, Saruth is now standing where she was, well, he does this and then steps back to shield her again. This will, however, bring him out of melee with you, so you may use your reaction to make attacks against him. He is provoking opportunity.
Can that be a spell, or does it have to be?
Has to be a melee attack. And you are prone, so you wouldn't be at advantage. You would be at disadvantage.
I'm not going to bother then.
Garrett will.
Yeah. I got knocked ass over head.
So Garrett is going to make a scimitar attack. A 19 or a 16, which does actually hit.
Garrett.
And it equals his armor class. So Garrett clocks him a d6 plus 3. Why am I here?
She just chewed a button off a glove. Rude.
I'm gonna pop Render away. There he is. For 6 damage to good old Buddy Lakash. He's taken 6 damage as Garrett manages to skewer a scimitar in underneath the shield as he stalks away. And it's your turn, Beryl.
I would like to cast Sleep at 3rd level, please.
Sure. Burn that. And how many d8s is it? Also, you're not on camera anymore. I can't see you.
Oh, sorry, I bumped it. Trying to work out how much damage Siri had done to the glove.
All right.
An annoying amount, as it turns out.
So you cast sleep on the pair of them, basically, I presume, and see how many of them you can put to sleep. I like it.
5d... Hang on, that's level 1 is 5d8.
I think it's plus 2d8s for every level above.
7.
No, I think it's 9 if you're doing 3rd level. I think it's 2d8s.
Oh, an additional 2d8 for every level. So yes, it's 9.
So. 9. Rolled 9 d8s worth of sleep damage. It does it to the weakest first. 44. The slender. She's not small by any stretch, but she's nowhere near as big as him. Saruth's eyes sort of flutter closed. And Beryl, what does this look like? Can you describe the casting of this spell?
Basically, I fumble my flute to my lips, and I just play the first few notes of a lullaby. And the air between, the air where the spell affects, shimmers like heat mirage. And the sound sort of distorts like it's slowing down.
Ooh. Yes. There is this winding down of a clock noise almost. And as that happens, Saruth's eyes come fluttering closed, and she drops behind her shield wall companion. As you do this, do you do anything else? Do you have anything else as a bonus action you would like to do?
I can do Hunter's Mark.
You can.
On the big boy.
It only works if you melee attack him, but yes.
Oh, of course. Does it help anyone else?
No. But you have other bonus actions. You are a bard.
I do.
As in bardic inspiration is what I'm implying.
Oh, right. Absolutely. We got this, Garrett. We're not going to die today.
No, we're not. And Garrett slaps the rune in the center of his chest. And fire slicks along both of his blades as he says, "No, Beryl, we're not." And he gets himself back up, which I presume you also do. You pick yourself up off the ground. He wasn't knocked prone, and he is still standing in front of you. And he goes, "Come on then, big boy." And his flames licking along his swords, he dives in to attack this dude with the rune. So bonus action, he will use Giant's Might, increasing his own size to that of a size class large person. This halfling grows. Come on then, big boy, as his body swells to almost the size of Laclash. And yes, he increases in size quite radically. He also is going to use the fire rune, which is why he's got flames licking along his blades. Yes, he will do that. So he will make a scimitar attack. A filthy 20 with his scimitar, which is going to do quite a bit of damage because the damage itself is 1d6. Oh, that's rubbish. Min damage. However, the creature now has to make a... read half of it. Fire rune. You can invoke the rune to summon fiery shackles. The target takes an extra 2d6 fire damage, which I'm just going to roll physically. Another 6 fire damage at the start of each of its turns, and it must succeed a strength save, DC 13, or be restrained, which I will now do. DC 13 strength save. Ooh! Rolled quite low. What is his strength? Not enough. He is restrained. Both of the creatures... So, Garrett... And I need another d6, actually, as well. 6 more. So that's 12 plus what I rolled, which is another 4. So Garrett clocks this boy for 16 damage.
Nice!
With his first attack. This is basically all of his big things at once, though. This is what he does. Yes. Hurts Laclash quite well, and Laclash's hands are all of a sudden magically bound to the ground by this flaming chains, as the fire from Garrett's blades wraps around his arms, the flames coursing across this bare-chested lizard folk, as his arms are then drawn slowly, inexorably down to the ground. He's clearly fighting it, but Garrett says, "Pick on someone your own size," and then he stabs him with his short sword for his second attack. Oh no, he doesn't have extra attack, and he's already used his bonus action, so he is not going to attack again. Although he does have actions, but I don't think he will. I think he'll hold it for the now. So, yeah, that's Garrett's turn. Saruth is unconscious, which means we are back to Laclash, who will immediately take 2d6 fire damage because he's shackled, which is a further 10, putting him up to 34 damage so far. And he must make another strength save. He roars and tears his arms free of the shackles, and he is going to attack Garrett a couple of times. In fact, let me just check that. While restrained by the shackles at the start of each of its turns, the target may repeat the saving throw at the end of each of its turns, banishing the shackles on a success, in which case it is done. That's all he could do. He freed himself. That's it. Beryl, what do you do?
I can't sleep at 3rd level.
Beryl, roll them bones.
So that is 98. All on him. Hopefully less 2s this time. 50!
Oof. 50. That would have almost knocked him out when he was at full. His eyes again flutter closed. Is it a concentration spell? Not, is it?
I don't think so. I believe it only lasts for like a minute.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not concentration, only lasts a minute.
He roars, tears his arms free. Once again, your lullaby, I don't think you've actually stopped playing. I think you are continuing to play. And he roars, tearing his arms free, and then the lullaby increases in volume, and his eyes, once again, he looks woozy, and he just collapses, and the ground shakes as this man-mountain of a lizard folk collapses at your feet, Beryl.
I like to think she gets a little bit of air with the force of the landing.
And the room is silent for a couple of seconds, and then that same susurrating hiss from the back of the room starts. And it would seem all the lizard folk in the room are hissing approval at you.
Oh, nobody tell him I can't do that again.
A few seconds later, Laclash, his eyes flicker open again.
Well, about 60 seconds later.
Well, no, it's... Well, yes, you turn and, yes, you look around yourself. Garruk and Oceanus say, sorry we did not involve ourselves.
No, I think that was kind of for the best.
Oceanus says, I had the feeling if we got involved, the rest would too.
Yeah, better 2 on 2.
And you didn't need our help.
No, well, I'm glad there were only 2 of them. If there were any more, this would have gotten bad.
Yeah.
Can only play that lullaby for so long.
And Garrett says, and that's the only time I can do that. That rune won't work again today. As he slowly shrinks down again. And as he does so, the Suruth gets groggily back to her feet. And dashes over. She gets to her feet using her spear as a sort of support, and sways and looks down at Lakash, who is scorched and bleeding a bit, not a lot, but a bit. And she dashes over to him with all the signs of concern, sort of with all of her strength, tries to turn him over, and Garrett reaches down with one of his massive halfling paw and flips this guy, and she cradles his head as the eyes flicker open again, and he looks up at this enormous halfling and hisses. Once again, a grin on his face.
Oh, is that good? Did we do
Laclash gets to his feet gently, and then kneels and bares his neck in front of Garrett.
Well,
just as Garrett starts to shrink.
Well, that ain't fair. I'm the one who knocked him out.
No, it's in front of the pair of you, but Garrett is in front of you. He's sort of still shielding you with him. And Saruth watches the pair of you, and then goes and kneels next to him, her spear on the ground in front of the pair of them, and bares her neck as well. And from the corner, you hear Minister Sarov hiss in common, "Their lives are yours."
Oh no, I don't need more NPCs.
To take or not.
Oh!
You won. Your magic is strong.
I don't feel no great need to kill him. Do you, Garrett?
As long as they ain't going to attack us again, that's fine.
Yeah. We cool.
Garruk says something in... he says to you in Elvish, so that even Sarah kind of understand. Says, "Do something impressive." Yeah?
Oh, right.
Possibly a nick. A cut.
Right.
Demonstrate you appreciate what they are offering.
Cool. What Beryl's gonna do is she's gonna draw the sword from the neck of the dulcimer. And she's gonna point it at the pair of them. And I'm going to use minor illusion to make quite a loud, a sound that's really loud and so low you almost can't hear it. Like a really loud, low pulse of sound.
Sure.
Where it you almost feel it in your bones. And then I would like to cast Healing Word on Big Boy.
Okay. Make me a performance check.
26.
Oh, Beryl.
And he gets 1d4 plus 4 of healing.
Yeah, please roll me that.
Which
3.
is 7.
7.
So he heals for 7 points. So
heals
he's not,
for 7 points.
He's not healed, but he's going to feel a bit better than he did a minute ago.
His burns scab over as you draw this rapier blade and then whisk it through the air, and this low thrum comes out, and sort of like a shockwave, you can almost see it in the air. And he heals. He is no longer in as much pain, and Sarov says, "You are merciful. I would have cut his throat."
Well,
And Lakash looks at Sarov, an eyebrow ridge, an eye ridge sort of raises, and he laughs, and then stands. The offer is gone. And he puts one hand, one huge claw, on your shoulder, and then goes to raise your hand up above, like one holds, like a defeated person raising the hand of their victor above, and gestures, like just this guy. And once again, that susurrating hiss. Sarov smiles and says, "If you are not..." Sorry, that's not his voice. "If you are not too busy, Miss Ingotsfjord, Queen Othokent would care to talk again."
Well, I would be delighted to speak to her again.
Do you make friends like this wherever you go?
I try not to. It just kind of happens.
And I think we'll leave it there.
Before I pick any more fights. Oh. That wasn't stressful at all.
Good job. Really disappointed how easily you just brushed off.
Look, sleep at 3rd level is brutal. Particularly if it's
big amount of hit
concentrated
points.
on one person.
One person, yeah.
I can only do it twice.
Yeah.
Like literally, if neither of those had knocked him out, I would have had to go down to 2nd level on it, and it immediately gets less effective.
I mean, the first one wouldn't have knocked him. Well, the second one wouldn't have knocked him out.
If you hadn't already been injured, yeah.
Yeah, Saruth.
I was just lucky that Garrett hit him.
Yeah. Oh, Garrett did more than half his hit points.
Wow.
with his reaction attack and then his actual attack. Yeah, Garrett did very well. He had the Clash is based on a Lizardfolk render. But I've muddled around with them because they're not supposed to have giant shields. I just really like that idea. And Saruth is technically a Lizardfolk shield master, ironically. But I've called her a Lizardfolk pole master instead. And yeah, they work in tandem and really quite well.
Yeah, I was intimidated.
Yeah. But yeah. Good job. Cool. Alrighty. Well, good job. Back to Lurkin. Got a 7 on the dice. Oh, hey, Lizelle. Lizelle got a 16. Alrighty. So, yes, we are. That's the end of the story. But that's not the end of the stream, because now we like to do something at the end of our streams, which is called favorite moments that we do at the end of all of our streams. We've borrowed it from the dreaded GM, and yeah, it's generally fun and nice and affirming, and we like it. So, Karen, tell me your favorite stealth moment.
Oh gosh. I did enjoy the conversation that I definitely didn't have with the merlady, where she's like, I definitely didn't tell you that. And I'm like, tell me what? I have no idea what you're talking about. That was fun. It was a nice little moment of lightheartedness in between the baby cannibalism.
Baby cannibalism was a lot. And chat, if you have your favorite moments as well, please tell us. We'd love to hear what you think we did well.
Compliment my face.
Yeah.
Or the dog that is climbing on me.
My favorite Beryl moment.
My glove.
I think you negotiated the conversation with the Koalinth really well.
Yeah.
Because you had no idea, and I was like, I regularly throw you in the deep end with this sort of stuff, and it's fun to see. The thing is, when you're in a party of 4, there's usually somebody who has a vague idea of how to do it. But when you're on your own, it's really just you. Yeah. So there is a degree of, if the DM has a vague idea of how to do it, their own self suggesting, and like trying to be helpful there. But otherwise, yeah. I think you dealt with it really, really well. I think you got more information out of it than I was expecting you to, certainly. They are quite an antagonistic race. The book is very specific. Like, there is almost no way to convince them. I threw in some stuff. And that sort of... The idea to talk to the Sahaugin was very smart. Yes, Bishop Blood, I agree. Yeah. But yeah, I think, the conversation with Koalinth, your reaction particularly when you found out, I think you were very, very diplomatic about their feelings towards the towards the Sea Elves. I think that was my favorite you moment. I thought it was just good, sensible in-character roleplay, but also like good, sensible in-character decisions.
Thank you.
Good job.
Talking about the Sahaugin, that kind of dealing with him was probably my favorite DM moment. Is having that kind of back and forth.
Yeah. Technically speaking, they only speak Sahaugin. But wouldn't be any fun if you can't communicate with them at all. So let's say they speak very simplistic. Hey, Serum.
Hey, willkommen.
Exclamation mark roll. Josh is a sexy man beast. Grins his Twitch agrees profusely. Good to see you, Serum. It's a long time, buddy. I hope you're well.
Woo!
Jesus. You get it?
Like, she kind of half fell, half jumped off my lap.
Serum, we're just doing some favorite moments. And then we might go and raid the Eldritch Scribe, or maybe Mike Moans. Depends how long the Eldritch Scribe are likely to stick around. Has been a few. Yeah, I'm good, mate. It's super busy. You're super busty as well, I'm sure.
I wish I was super busty.
Misspelling, to be clear. Yeah, favorite DM moment. I think the detail about the eating the babies is I made that up on the fly.
Any idea when you unleashed with that?
Well, no. Clearly I did not. Love the aqua gobbo was rolling around. Oh, yeah, I quite like that as well. Yeah, the description of how the Koalinth sort of moved. Yeah, I thought that was kind of neat. I really enjoy making up the that sort of thing. You also didn't ask his name, which is good because I hadn't made one up. Although
I'm not going to remember. So.
I did decide on the names of the name of the Locanthah though. His name is Ambassador. I think they're named for what they do. They determine what they do in life, and then they take that as their name. So he is Ambassador, or probably more like one who talks, something along those lines. And he is carried around by. I'm probably one who talks. One who DMs. One who
procrastinates.
Yes, well, you are one who does an awful lot of that. Cannibalism
talk
today,
was highlight. You know, it's very productive today.
You were. The cannibalism talk was also a highlight. Glad to hear it, Bishop Blood. Okay.
Look, sometimes it's got to hash these things out.
Exactly.
And if you're interested in cannibalism, or the situations that lead to it, I do encourage you to go listen to your Wrong Abouts episode about the miracle in the Andes. It was genuinely really interesting, and mostly not about cannibalism. It's kind of just this story in general of how they survived in like incredibly harsh circumstances, part of which included eating people.
Okay, noted.
But it's a great podcast. You should check it out. I love it.
But I also quite like Laclash and Saruth. I thought they were cool.
They were fun. Like, I was so worried they were just going to, like, pound us into the dirt.
I mean...
Unfortunately...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Basically, if you tried to conserve, you'd have gotten smushed. He got that thing. That first hit like, was good.
Yeah. I was like, yeah, if I let him hit me more than once, I am going to get obliterated.
Yeah. He can only do the shield bash every other... But basically, yeah, it might have been a little bit closer if he'd managed to knock out... Because basically, after that, the shield bash, it recharges on a 5 or a 6. So he has multi-attack, and it would have been one with his bite and one with his smash. The smash is a 1d8 plus 1d6... 1d8 piercing... sorry, 1d8 bludgeoning and 1d6 piercing, because it's the shield, so it's a big bludgeon, but it's got spikes. And then the bite is another 1d10 piercing. All plus 3. So he could have knocked out Garrett in a round. At which point it would have just been him and you. He is a bit of a beast. And has a reasonably good modifier to hit as well. The
dog's got sticky tape on her foot. So when she steps, it goes... Have you got it on your foot?
Bishop Blood is also just glad to see the return of Mano and Mano. We are too, mate. It's been a hot minute. We haven't all through the October basically. We stopped before the charity marathon, and we just didn't really get started again. And then the Dare came along for the 2-shot. And we also postponed that as well. So it was 3 weeks.
Yeah, it kind of just ended up being. But
there wasn't a good reason to start it up for just 1 week again, so we will be back. This is Mano and Mano will be back for 3 or 4 weeks now, I think.
Yeah, we should have 2 weeks before we start Candlekeep Christmas.
Yeah.
Well, 21st and 28th.
So hopefully and then we will have Mercy next week, who we will introduce and meet.
Special guest character.
If she's up for it, maybe she'll stay for a couple. We'll see. Cool. Well, that's our favourite moments. So I think we've been streaming for long enough. We should go and raid somebody. So thank you guys so much for joining us. Karen, can you tell me about Ukraine and all the cool things we are promoting that about right now?
I can tell you about Ukraine. A country in Eastern Europe, currently being invaded by Russia. But last time I checked, it was actually going better for them.
Not too bad.
Which is good. But either way, a lot of people have obviously had to flee the conflict because if your house is being blown up, it's very sensible to leave. But that comes with its own set of problems. And to combat those, the first link in chat is for the emergency action appeal. This is a collaboration of Australian charities, not-for-profits, and they're specifically raising money to help Ukrainian refugees. So yes, if you have some spare digital pennies, feel free to follow that link across, give them a donation. The Australian government has given them $2 million, and they have raised another $2 million on their own, so it has done pretty bloody well. But if you would like a little bang for your buck, the second link in chat is for the Curious Compendium of Slavic Myth, which is a 38-page little mini D&D booklet. It's got some subclasses, it's got some special creatures. Yes, creatures.
Yeah,
some creatures. It's got a beautiful map inspired by Ukraine. So it's all kind of revolves around
Ukraine done in the style of of Tolkien, really.
Yeah, it's a Tolkien meets Ukraine map. There's also a little one-shot in there. So basically, if you would like to add some Ukrainian flavor to your D&D playing, you can flip them a donation. Minimum donation is £1, which is, I believe, is about $2. 2 AU.
That's round about what it comes out
at the moment. Depends how the exchange rate's doing. But yes, for £1 you can have that, but you can donate more than £1. You can take £100. You can give them £1,000 if you feel like it, but you don't have to. You can give them £1 and they will give you 38 pages of D&D Slavic goodness for you to take and enjoy. And Josh has read it and says it's really quite good.
I've read most of it, and Brendan has read it as well, and Brendan highly endorses it. Brendan suggested, points this out, and I think it's really cool. If you have never DM'd before and you would like to try and like to start off, it is a really good starter point. For a pair of Australian dollary-doos, you could get yourself all the things you need to run a one-shot adventure, and it's a really good, solid little adventure for a party of 3 or 4, and everything you need to do that. So that's the only investment you need to do. And it's a good little starting spot, and you can help a charity out as well, which is neat.
You can feel good and wholesome about it, which is nice.
Splendid. Well, guys, we have all the socials if you want to follow us on any of those. We have the Discord.
The Book of Face. The Tube of Views.
If you want to see pictures of Siri in our pet section, you can. And we have the YouTube. If you missed any episodes, and there's been a lot of them, so that would be totally fair, you can check them out on our YouTube there. Guys, there's more than one of us. Karen, who the absolute heck are you?
Hi, I'm Karen. I'm being attacked by a dog.
Oh, no.
Sometimes known as the Mother of Bunnies. You can follow me on Twitter until it implodes at Mother O Bunnies. You can also follow my Bella's Alter Ego on Instagram at Miss Lola Moore. Though I might have to make a Mother O Bunnies Instagram depending on how this whole Twitter thing pans out. Who knows? Exciting time to be alive. And if you want more D&D goodness, you can head across to There Be Dragons through the link chat, which is a D&D podcast in which I play the wonderful Rowland Westfall, who is a dragonborn warrior with a big axe. You can listen to it on your favorite podcasting platform. I think we're on almost all of them.
Yes. And Necrosis, thank you very much for the follow, you bloody champion. Good on you,
I hope
matey.
you don't have necrosis, though.
Avast and such. I think it's pronounced Necrosis anyway, but yeah, interesting name. And Mesdames and Monsieur, Dame und Herren, and beings of indeterminate gender and persuasion, I be Josh the Pirate, and you can find me here on my channel, Corso's Cove, but you know that, because you've done it already. Good job, well done, keep doing it. We run it together, Karen and I do, and we play D&D here, quite a lot, actually. Mondays and Thursdays are our normal nights, but I will also be doing Into the Breach tomorrow night, playing more of that, because Natoan has asked me to play his 4D chess bunch of mechs, and I'm really enjoying it. It's a really cool game. So, intro, outro. Oh, I've missed you too, Serum. It's been a long time, mate. If you like the majestic voice, but you think I could stand to tone the face down a little bit, you can check me out in the podcast There Be Dragons, where I play the infamous and deadly pirate Scanfelspar und his little dragon, Rosh. Yes, Thursday night, more Humblewood of Monsters and Magic. This is the tail end of Season 3. Serum, there have been 7 seasons of Humblewood now. This is the 7th season. Insane. Serum was the tech for season 2 and 3. It's a bit crazy. It is insane. We are well over 80 episodes now. I think it's 84 at this point. It's nuts. There is an awful lot. All up on the YouTube. You can check them all out there. They're all in one contiguous playlist. If you want to watch the entire chronology of it. 29 player characters, 19 players so far. In the world, it is an opus, and it's really fun. They are now doing Serum. The monsters, the Flocks and Fire crew, half of them are now doing Barovia. with Jack Squarepeg and Roro, who was here earlier, but I don't think she's around. So yes, and the artwork is so good as well, and you will see it on our end screen. So we will go away from here now, guys, because we have to go and raid somebody and have dinner, because I am a hungry boy. So I think the Eldritch Skype, Karen, what do you reckon?
Yeah, we haven't done them for a week or so.
Yeah, since last Monday. So we'll
We
drop
did do them
a raid.
last Monday? Oops,
We
never
did,
mind.
but
Let's go again.
people came here to watch us play D&D. Mike moans is painting, which is like D&D, but it's not.
They're
D&D.
playing actual D&D.
So they're actually playing D&D, and Daria will be there, and we love her. So we will go and raid the Eldritch Scribe and Daria. Tell Des, Daria, AJ, and the others where you came from. Show them all the love in chat. We also should mention Sirenscape, who provided the music today, and Wooten Forge, the wonderful chaps at Wooten Forge, where I have been rolling my dice in their beautiful Dice Keeper. We are affiliated with Wooten Forge. If you do fancy chucking some money towards an excellent wooden tabletop gaming paraphernalia company, that there is wootenforge.com/Corsairs Cove. Follow that link and we get a sneaky kickback for anything you purchase. There are some beautiful things. They make Australian and exotic hardwoods into gorgeous gaming accessories. I don't think there's anything else we need to say, so we will say goodbye, everybody. So, Karen, say goodbye, everybody.
Goodbye, everyone.
Enjoy
Farewell.
the pictures on our end screen.
Auf Wiedersehen.